Welcome back to another episode of Beam City Sports.
Beam City Sports.
Yes, sir. We are back here at the Beam City Sports Bar. Beautiful backyard, sunny day here in Sacramento, California. Got the boys with me, Jackson, Luke, Devin. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Riding the momentum that the Kings are riding right now with that 2 wins in a row right now. Playing tonight at 5 o'clock, so looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. Dev, how we feeling?
Chilling, it's a beautiful day out here. It's not too hot, not too cold, ready to have some fun with the boys.
Yes, sir. Jackson, good to have you back on, man. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Lakers have been, just rolling.
Yeah, Lakers won 5 in a row. You're repping the John Wall vintage jersey today. I like
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah.
Clean, looking clean.
Best Dougie
Almost
we've ever
ripped
seen.
it.
Yeah,
Right
best
off
Dougie
the
we've
bat.
ever seen for sure. Well, we're going to go over the Kings win versus the Utah Jazz to start off the show, and then we'll go around the NBA. There's been a lot of close games going on. Definitely want to get into all that. Luke's Lock of the Week, as we always do. ICU. And then the main topic of today will be X Factors for every playoff contender. Curious to see what you guys put for, some X Factors on these teams, because going down the wire of the season, all these important role players are going to matter so much. So it's going to be a fun one.
Hell yeah.
It's always going to be a fun one. It's
Yeah.
always a fun episode, especially in this backyard.
Yes,
Great,
sir.
beautiful day.
Yes, sir.
Can't ask for anything else.
Yeah, well, like Luke said, the Kings play at 5 o'clock today. They play the Houston Rockets. Maybe get some updates on that later in the show. But, we need a win tonight. It's going to be a tough one. The Rockets are a really good team, but it's a really important game. If we win this, that'd mean 3 in a row. So a lot of momentum for the Kings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that would be a huge one if we go into Houston right now and get our first win there without De'Aaron, because the last time we played, we had De'Aaron, and that was a really close game that we had. So if we can go in and make a more dominant win, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll start with the Utah Jazz game. Not much to talk about here. An easy win like we talk about Wednesday. Like an easy win, as it should be. And, the Kings handled business, and we were a little nervous about it. Some of these games, Kings don't come to play against the lower teams, and they make it close, but the Kings look really good this game. Keegan had 26 points last night, 5 of 10 from 3, a season high for him. How are we feeling about Keegan last night?
Feeling good. Definitely the best game of the season from him all year, and hopefully he can just keep riding it, and it'll keep going.
Yeah.
Don't even have to say it.
Dev, what do you see from Keegan?
Yeah, awesome. Good to see him, get hot in the first half, and then, also good to see his teammates look for him there in the second half.
Yeah.
That's something we have grown, accustomed to seeing a lot, is not getting the ball after he's had a very good first half, and the team's just not looking for him that much. So it's good to see that, and as long as he's knocking down shots like that, we're going to get to it later in the show, but he's going to be a big guy for the Kings.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about Keegan this year? He's had a down year, less of a role on the offensive end, but big game last game. Do you think Keegan is a super important part to this Kings offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even his offense really. They have so much offense from DeRozan, Levine, Monk, Sabonis already. It's mainly just the defensive aspect that he's had to carry such a load there.
Yeah.
And I think that team defense has improved, especially having Keon Ellis. He played 33 minutes the other night.
Yeah.
Having him play an increased role, especially on the floor, allows Keegan to not be fully exhausted every time he has the ball or shooting.
For sure. Keegan's definitely our best wing defender, and even if he's not hitting shots, that's why we got to keep him on the floor. But if he can hit shots like this, man, 5 of 10 from 3, that's going to be huge for this Kings team going down the stretch. We need that 3-point shooting. If guys aren't hitting like Malik and, Zach and all that, we need Keegan hitting shots. And if he can continue hitting, this would be huge for this Kings team, especially against the good teams. We need some offense from Keegan against the teams like the Rockets and like the Nuggets and the Knicks that are coming up.
Yep.
So it's going to be important.
Yeah, we need scoring from all points of the team right now. We had 7 people in double digits.
Yeah.
Again, against the Jazz, so it's kind of expected. But that's what we need every night. We need everybody scoring that much, like every night, to get the dub.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to shout out Jonas, man. Jonas off the bench with 15, 7, and 2 assists.
Yeah.
That's I love that. That's exactly what I was hyped for when he came to the team, and he's proven that he can do it still.
Yeah. I saw something about Jonas, man. When before we got Jonas, the minutes where we didn't have Domas on the floor, we had one of the worst offensive ratings in the league. Since we got Jonas, the minutes without Domas, we have one of the best offensive ratings in the league. So Jonas has, been a huge part of this team. I got to always mention it before we traded for him. I was not really on board with the move. These two guys over here were, so big props to them.
Yes.
I thought he was too slow, but honestly, his rim protection and just his toughness out there has been huge, and the slowness hasn't really mattered like I thought it would. So, shout out to Val, man. Hope to see some more Domas and Valanciunas minutes together, though. We haven't seen it too much. Yeah.
That's the thing. We saw it in Dallas, and it worked really well. Like, there was nothing to complain about it.
Yeah.
But, I hope we can see a little bit more of it. Maybe in this next Houston game. I feel like we can use that size against them.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, and shout out JV because I feel like the last couple games, especially his minutes, have been even more important because Sabonis hasn't really been playing up to. It's crazy he's averaging what he's averaging right now the last few games, and we're calling that like a slump.
Yeah.
But for him it is. So it's very important minutes for JV off the bench, and then honestly, like you guys are saying, I would love to, especially in that Warriors game. I know we probably talked about it a week or two ago, but. A time like that to run the two bigs out there. So that's something I'd love to see.
Yeah, It's tough against those teams like the Rockets, though, because they're so young and fast. And if they play like a Men or Jabari Smith Jr. at the 4, they might run us out of the gym. But, I feel like I always say that. And then if the Kings go big, it usually works, like against the Mavericks. I was a little scared to do that because, they have Kyrie and all these other, young wings running around. But against a team like the Rockets, I will be interested to see what, Doug Christie does.
Yeah. So the end of the game, we were kind of not questioning it, but they had the starting lineup going for the last 3 minutes of the game, and we were up by 15.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, what?
Doug's on his tips timing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just I was questioning that right there. But,
yeah.
We had a long break to come into today.
Yep.
So hopefully there'll be some fresh legs and get the win.
Yeah, Doug, I feel like was just letting his guys, get more chemistry together. Even if we're up 15 with a couple minutes to go, let those guys, get a rhythm together. Zach LaVine is, finding his rhythm for sure. 22 points, 4 of 8 from 3, and we need that 3-point shooting, man. That's so important for this team going down the stretch. But after that 40 ball, he's backed it up with some good games. So
yeah.
It's
I don't think I said it in Luke's Lock of the Week this past Wednesday. But LaVine's going to score like 25 against Rockets tonight.
That's your lock?
25 points. Yeah.
That's a lock.
Yeah, it's not meaning to throw shade at anybody or anything, but I know probably you guys are going to take it as that and everybody watching. But, it's nice to have a guy who he's going to put up a lot of threes, but, hey, he's probably going to make half of them.
Yeah.
And he's probably sometimes more than half of them, like the game we saw against the
Hornets.
The Hornets, yeah. Short-term memory loss. But, yeah.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. It's good to have one of your main guys as a 3-point shooter with where the league's going. Jackson, from a Laker fan, how confident are you in this Kings team going down the stretch? Every game matters. It's so close in the Western Conference. What do you think is going to happen with this Kings team?
I think I really like the offensive, each guy, getting a certain amount of points. And then, like Luke said, and especially Sabonis being in a slump, it helps that everybody else is picking up the slack.
Yep.
But also just Jonas being able to do that in such limited minutes is so huge for them because, like you said, the offense was just suffering so much when Sabonis was out.
Yeah.
I think they match up with a few teams in the West pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rockets being young and fast is a problem team. Same with any team with a lot of big wings. So, Lakers is a problem, probably. I'd say the Clippers, they match up well with them.
We're 0-4 against them this year.
Yeah.
Unbiased, but the Lakers' defense has been the best in the league since...
Got to put some respect on it.
Bro. That's crazy.
Actually, since December 4th, they're the second best in the league.
Oh, shout out JJ.
So, that's 62%.
They don't need no damn center to play D. I'm just kidding. I don't ride for the Lakers.
I like that take. DeMar, consistent as always, 19, 6 and 8 last game.
He was everywhere last night.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty
Making
awesome.
things happen.
And then, even on the defensive side, dude has been stepping it up recently. So,
I like to see it.
I love to see that from the vet. Kind of filling in a whole lot just for when, Keegan's not on the floor and when Keon isn't on the floor. He's really helping out a whole lot. So, that's pretty awesome to see right there.
For sure. Another game where Domas didn't have a double-double, which is rare this year. Only 12 points and 9 rebounds, so a rebound away. But, like you said, he's been kind of struggling a little bit, but I expect a big game from Domas going against the Rockets. him and Sengun have some competition together. So I think Domas is going to have one of those games where he's known as a top 5 center in the league.
Yeah.
So
they always go back and forth when they play against each other. So I think it's going to be a big high scoring game for both of them potentially.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I also think Sabonis, his numbers are a little deflated just because Levine getting accustomed.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot more shot attempts. And he's always been an outside shooter. More so. So, the touches in the paint aren't going to be as there for Sabonis.
True that.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, he's not one to obviously look for his offense a lot. We know that. But especially with Zach coming, and then he does play a lot with second units most of the time. So, LaRavia and Markel. So he's just trying. I feel like he's more taking it like he's the person on the team that has taken the most responsibility to kind of try to get the new guys accustomed. So I definitely agree with that.
He is the leader of the team.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
It's right for him to be like, okay, these other 3 guys in the starting lineup, Malik, Levine, and DeRozan, all deserve 15-plus shot attempts each.
Yeah.
So, for him to take a slight back seat, that's fine. And he knows he can also turn it on when he needs to.
Yeah.
True that. Well, also I feel about Domas, he hasn't really been shooting the 3 like he was.
Yeah,
there was a while he
taken
was
it a
leading
lot.
the league in 3-point percentage. He was shooting a couple a game, and we loved it. And then he kind of got away from it. So hopefully, come playoff time.
You want to know what I think it was?
What?
I think it was that Warriors game. He missed one, and then they just let him shoot a couple more, and I think he went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 that game. And
Hasn't shot
honestly,
any.
I think that low-key killed his confidence a little bit, for sure.
I want to see him shooting some more.
I feel like it's also just the new concept of the team with Zach LaVine shooting a whole lot more out there. Keegan's shot is starting to. I mean, last night it fell a whole lot more, but before that, Keegan started to hit a lot more. Malik is looking good. So I don't think they necessarily need him out on the perimeter as much.
That's a good point.
As they
Just
were
having
using
that
him before.
Offensive balance.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want all 5 of your guys just to be guys who are going to shoot threes.
Yeah. So I feel like we're finding our rhythm on the outside perimeter with the other guys. So we're just like, all right, let's actually use him as a big man.
Yeah,
because DeMar's taking a lot more threes too. I mean, he's shooting the best in his career, I think, this year from the corners. Like he's hitting 40-something%. That could be something that, if he wants to, maybe extends his career maybe a year or 2 more, but it just depends on how bad the defense gets later in a couple of years. But, I mean, even that, he's been shooting a lot more threes. So, yeah, I definitely agree. He's just trying to find the right offensive balance, and like Jackson said, he's the leader, so that's the guy that should be doing it. So I'm not too worried about him.
Yeah, true. Well, Walker Kessler was, the Utah Jazz best player last game for sure. 25 points, 14 rebounds. That was someone I thought the Lakers were going to go out and get, honestly. Would you have been happy with getting Walker instead of, keeping Jackson Hayes as your starting big?
I like Walker. Yeah, he's a very good shot blocking center, good defensively. I mean, for what we have right now, I think Hayes fits the mold of what we, for the time being. Obviously, I would have loved to have an upgraded center.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Mark Williams trade was, whatever happened.
Yeah.
I do think it was a little bit, trying to push for just a young guy at that point. Like Mark Williams, I don't know if he fully fit. Like a guy like Claxton or Walker Kessler probably fits a little better in the role of they don't need touches offensively.
Yeah.
They'll play defense. They'll catch lobs. They'll be able to be mobile on the perimeter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have loved to have him. I think they'll probably revisit it in the summer too.
That's probably
I would 100%
Try to do it. Yeah.
Well, we can move on from the Kings. Got a game against the Rockets tonight. We will, jump into that more later once the game gets going. But the Warriors beat the Magic the other day on Thursday in Orlando. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, the greatest point guard of all time, a top 10 player of all time, had 56 points, 12 threes, and, he just led that Warriors team. They were down 20 early and just rode the hot shooting of Steph Curry.
Awesome.
And he's just the best point guard of all time. Any pushback on that from anyone? Because I'm ready.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you. You got a pretty good argument, but I just hate to see it. I hate to see it.
Yeah.
Shout out Quinn Post.
Definitely. Yeah, no.
I'm a D1 hater.
Curry lit him up. Curry. I mean, it was a vintage Curry matchup for sure. It sucked that it was against the Magic, my beloved East Coast team. But dude turned up. Also got to shout out Paolo though with the 41 bomb, so that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
in only 36 minutes. That was really. I mean, Steph did that in 34. My bad.
Come on, don't play with Steph.
Jimmy only had 5?
Yeah, Jimmy's been struggling the last couple games. Jimmy's been struggling the last couple games, but he still makes the whole offense just flow better.
Yeah.
He's a glue guy.
He
And he's
did
playing
have 7
the best
assists.
D
Yeah.
out there too.
And
so.
Steph's never been a guy who's always going to get a high assist number.
Yeah.
So having Jimmy and Draymond out there helps a ton for him.
Yeah, just let Steph run around, and he was cooking KCP.
So are you
Cooking
taking Magic Johnson off the Mount Rushmore and putting
Steph
Curry?
Curry's better than Magic Johnson. I'm saying it.
Interesting.
I'm saying it. He's better.
Interesting.
I mean, Magic obviously does a lot of things great. Definitely a top 3 passer of all time. Magic. I'd put LeBron up there.
You put LeBron over Magic in passing.
In passing, yeah. I'd say LeBron's the best passer of all
I would
time.
agree with that.
Really?
I'd say LeBron's the
Yeah.
best passer of all time. That's not crazy to say. Everyone says
Well,
that.
maybe not best passer, best playmaker.
Playmaker, I
Yeah.
could agree
Is there a
with.
difference?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there is.
I don't-
What's the difference?
Yeah, Jason Williams is probably the best passer ever.
Jason
Okay,
was- okay.
highlight watcher, flashy
That-
passer, the best
come on,
flashy
man.
passer of all
Flashy
time.
passer,
Okay,
yeah.
so
If
what's
you
the
look at
difference?
Jason Williams' stats,
Why
dude
is
had so many
it
turnovers.
got to be different, bro? If it's flashy,
Well, the
that's-
amount of
so
turnovers
what?
that Jason Williams had compared to the assists is like
The
kind of
best pure passer that I see is
Rondo.
probably Rondo.
Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Rondo's a good
Rondo
one.
or Nash.
Steve
and
Nash.
Kidd. Those 3 guys I've seen when I watched them, they were all like, okay,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
always going to get 10 plus assists. Same with
Playmaker.
and Trae Young today.
Playmaker, I could say LeBron's probably the greatest playmaker
LeBron
of all
will-
time.
He just does everything, dude.
Yeah, he does everything.
Shout out, Bron.
But I mean, so did Magic, except shoot the ball. And where the league is today, Steph Curry.
Different league.
Yeah, it's a different league for sure. But Magic just did everything for his team back then. He played the center in the finals, and just he could play
Finals
1 through
MVP
5.
as
Play
a
1 through
rookie.
5. Steph is a true. I mean, I don't know. I take
For
that
me-
back. He's not a true point guard, but he is the best player under 6'5" of
He's
all
an
time.
entire offense.
For me, it's tough to really compare all that stuff just
It
because
is tough.
the whole generation of basketball is
Yeah.
just completely different. But yeah, if you really make the argument, Curry's probably the best point guard of all time.
Is there anyone
well,
under 6'6" that's better than Steph Curry all time? Because I
Allen
don't.
Iverson.
There's
Muggsy.
not. No, he's not. Allen Iverson.
Shout out Muggsy. 5'3".
Yeah, shout out.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, 56 for the GOAT. The Warriors look really good, man. I think they're going to go on a run. I'm saying it right now. I think the Warriors are going to do it again. I think they're going to face the Celtics in the finals, and I think they're going to beat the Celtics once again and live in Milo's nightmares.
That's
Steph
your
Curry
old
and Jimmy
bias.
Butler.
That's your
Definitely
old
bias
talking.
on, Steph Curry, but
I'm going to say the Warriors have a
they
chance.
look really good.
Have a chance to do it, but in a 7-game series, I'm giving it to the Celtics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think the Warriors can get through the West, though?
No, I don't even.
That's going to
think
be
they make the
tough. That's
finals.
also going to be a 7-game series against whoever.
The team that I think the
probably
Warriors don't want to see is the Nuggets. Because playing against Jokic and all those guys in the
Yeah.
series would be really tough. The Thunder would also be
I don't
obviously
think
really
you guys can
tough.
be the Thunder.
Thunder would be the really.
Yeah.
But anyone else?
Thunder's gonna be
Anyone
tough.
else?
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Anyone else? I'm picking the
Crazy.
Warriors.
That's crazy.
Lakers do look good though.
Silently right now, Tyler's
Considering
saying
Steph
Tyler's
shot like 4 for 21 last time we played him or something.
Against the Lakers?
Yeah.
Y'all do
And
have
the
Vando.
time after that.
You do have
Yeah.
Vando.
You guys didn't even say the Lakers, and you
do have Vando.
little argument. going
All I
on.
know is they don't want to come back to SAC.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all.
I'm not mad at that. Well, the Warriors are also 11-0 when Moses Moody starts this year. And he only had 10 points, playing good defense as well. Couldn't hit a shot in the first half, but 11-0 when Moses Moody starts. So obviously they found a recipe for success. And Quentin Post off the bench with 18 points, 7-footer, hitting
He's
threes
nice.
left
I
and
gotta
right.
give respect
I like
to
him.
Quentin
Yeah.
Post,
Post is so nice.
Came out of nowhere, second round pick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
55th, right?
Yeah.
No,
I
54th.
I know it was
Something
second
like
round.
that. It was late second round.
know it was second round.
He's a Dutch. Shout out the Caucasian community, man.
He's a shooter, man.
Yeah.
Maybe
Shooter.
that was Guy Santos. I was actually looking at all the drafts the other day.
Yeah.
And Guy Santos was like a 55th pick.
I get
don't know why I
those
know
two
that
mixed
now.
up literally every time I'm watching the Warriors,
Who?
bro. Quentin Post and Guy Santos. Even
Bro,
though
they
they
look
don't,
nothing
they
alike.
don't. But like,
That's crazy.
I don't know if it was like that the Warriors
It's just
Kings
because
game when they came back,
They
but I was
played-
like,
they played them
Yeah.
both like out of nowhere at the same time.
Yeah.
and
it's
so
like-
I was like, the announcers were talking, I was like confused, and then that just messed me up.
Hey,
they don't
dude,
look anything alike.
come
Yeah, I
on.
Hey,
understand.
Guy
that,
Santos is my boy. Interviewed him like 5 times in Santa Cruz a year ago. And, he was definitely one of the best players on that Santa Cruz Warriors team. But Guy Santos, Jackson Rowe, who now is officially on the Warriors as well, interviewed him.
Oh, nice.
Pat Spencer. I know Lester Quinones isn't there
Is he
anymore,
on the
but-
team still? Pat
Hey,
Spencer?
Pat
Spencer,
he played
yeah.
a couple games this
Yeah,
year, right?
yeah.
Hey, respect to Guy Santos and Quentin Post, but y'all got to work on the mustache a little bit, man. You guys' mustache ain't too hot.
Coming from the master over here.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry about that.
Well, on the Magic side, Franz had 27, Paolo 41, but no one else really showed up. That's really the problem
Yeah.
with Orlando. I think
Yeah.
You know, they need a true point guard.
They needed Monk.
Damn,
bro,
Casey
in the
needed
offseason.
zero.
They
Come on,
needed
Casey.
Malik in the
Monk would have been
offseason.
perfect on that team.
Yeah.
They need to go all in and get Trey.
Trey Young.
That'd
They
be sick.
That would be
That'd be
perfect.
They
sick.
get Trey Young.
But
who's
that
his lob
team
threat?
is set.
Trey Young needs a lob threat. They can't have Wendell Carter being their lob threat.
Paolo can get
I
up
like
there.
Wendell
Paolo
Carter.
can get up
Paolo's
there.
not a lob
He can
threat.
get up there,
listen,
though.
Okay, but he's not a rim running center.
I've been seeing these the videos on TikTok are so funny
He's a
because it's just all the
ISO-oriented player.
highlights of bro just dunking over anybody he wants and being like, it's crazy, bro could literally do this at any time he wants, but thinks he's the best perimeter player of all
Who?
time. Like somebody was just saying that about Paolo because
Oh.
he's like
He does shoot.
He's
a lot
like
of
the point
jumpers.
guard.
He shoots
He's
a lot.
literally the
he
point
could
guard.
literally be prime LeBron, but he just chooses like not
He
to.
chooses to be Carmelo.
Yeah, that's what I saw the
That's
same
a
thing.
good-
That's literally
that's
what
no
it
doubt.
was.
That's a good
He
comparison.
still puts up numbers,
Yeah.
but physically and how he should when he
Yeah.
wants to play like that.
He's got
he
the exact
can play
LeBron
like
build,
Bron.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got the exact.
He can
LeBron
play
build.
like young LeBron, and then
Yeah.
he says, "Nah, Hezi Pole."
And he shoots pretty good too.
I mean, aesthetically, it's.
But it's no
Yeah.
knock because he's still nice and having a great year. So
Yeah. Well, shout out Paolo.
Shout out Paolo.
Some more games around the NBA last night. The Cavs at the Celtics. Celtics went up 25-3 to start this game.
Milo.
25-3. Man, I
Sorry,
thought it was
Milo.
over in the first half. Jason Tatum had 30 points in the first half.
Hang on, I want to pull up Milo's text.
Yeah,
to us.
Milo was talking a lot of smack at halftime, saying, "Oh, this is the best team in the East. This is supposed to be the best team in the East." Yes, that's the best team in the East, Milo.
At 5:44 p.m., Milo texted me and Tyler. Y'all see Tatum stats at half against the quote-unquote best team in the East? Tyler says 30 at half is insane. And 9 and 7? Holy shit. MF might be modern-day Kobe.
I did say that. He might be.
Modern-day Kobe.
And then
We still need to have
let's
a
see,
conversation about
7 p.m. F me from Milo.
Milo was going through it. The Cavs come back. Donovan Mitchell had 41 points. Darius Garland with 20.7 assists. And those two guys down the stretch were just so clutch for that Cavs team. And Evan Mobley, man, he had a horrible first half. He came out in second half, hit a couple threes in a row. And when he's hitting threes, the Cavs are unbeatable.
Mobley took that leap.
Yeah.
Huge.
I love
this
his
year.
game.
He's
That-
so good.
And then Donovan Mitchell, man, that was a masterclass coming down the stretch
Masterclass.
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Same with
Like,
Darius, man. Darius was
Yeah,
cooking.
Darius, he only had I think 12 points in the third quarter, and then he popped off.
Why did the Celtics have Sam Hauser on the floor late in that game, just getting cooked by Darius Garland? Why is
Not a
Sam
good
Hauser
idea.
out there in the late stretch? I know
Not
they
a
had
good
some
idea.
injuries last game. They started Sam Hauser, so interesting, decision by their head coach Joe Mazzulla. But I still think he's a great coach. But
And then I knew DeAndre Hunter was going to come into that Cavs
Perfect
team,
fit.
and perfect
Perfect
fit right
fit.
there. Like I'm glad that they traded for
yeah,
him.
that
Like,
was the
I'm a
perfect
big-
fit. Yeah.
Not a big Cavs fan, but I respect what they're doing right now. The fact that they only have 10 losses this deep in the season,
Crazy.
Nobody expected that. shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I am right now. I'm gonna say I'm rooting for the Cavs.
Yeah,
You know,
respect.
Well, yeah.
everybody's like they're the fraud top seed of the East. Screw that noise.
No,
bro.
I'm rooting for them,
I'm not with
but I
that.
can't say I'm a fan. I
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
yeah.
But I definitely honestly, it's just because everybody is talking so much shit about him. Like,
Yeah.
I want him to win.
You know why? It's because we've seen Donovan Mitchell lead a team in the regular season like this before with Utah, and they were number one in the West,
They're
and no
number
one
one.
took them seriously. And then, what everyone predicted happened. They
Yeah.
lost in the playoffs because Rudy Gobert isn't a good playoff performer.
And then they also just didn't have much more of a supporting
They
cast.
didn't.
over
That's
there.
what I was going to say.
Like,
This Cavs team is miles ahead of those Utah
Yeah.
teams. Like, it's
Yeah.
not even close.
Everybody thought this whole team was going to get blown up too.
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
Honestly, Donovan was, I thought he was going to go to New York or something crazy like that. But, staying in Cleveland, loyal. So
He
shout
saw
out to
the
Donovan.
vision.
Yeah, he did. Ty Jerome only had 8 points, but they were big 8 points, man. I feel like in the first half when the Cavs couldn't score, Ty Jerome came in and made a huge impact, hitting some shots. He's one of my favorite players this year, man. He might win Most Improved Player. I know he probably won't, but he should get some recognition for that.
He'll probably be up in the conversation, but there's too much competition for that.
It's gonna be
for that
Norman.
award,
Norman?
It's gonna
I would
be-
like that.
dude. You
Going
can't
from 13
you can't
to 25.
jump 10
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
I hope
in
they
the
don't give it to
season,
Cade,
and-
though. Because Cade, he's a number one pick. Everyone knew Cade was going to be this good.
He's had so many injuries that he hasn't
Yeah.
even played this much.
I hate that's where the award's going, though.
Yeah.
Like, Ja won it a while ago, and, Ja
I
was the
didn't like
second pick in the
that.
draft. Everyone knew Ja was going to be
Wait,
this
so-
good.
that, yeah.
So you think Cade's definitely gonna get it? Or-
I mean, he's the favorite right now.
that's lame.
So, yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
12 points though in 1 year.
Yeah,
You
that
can't-
deserves
and then
it for
shooting
sure.
career best from most parts
exactly.
of the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cade, and he's leading that Detroit team to, sixth in the It's 6 in
Yeah,
the East.
6 in the East.
I was
yeah.
talking to Luke about that a second ago. I'm like, every time I see that, it's just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pistons.
Yeah,
man.
they're
Shout out to the
really fun to
Pistons.
watch.
Yeah, that's what the Kings wish they were.
Yeah,
doing
I
right now.
said that last week. I was like, this is what we
Definitely
wish we
true.
were two years ago.
Definitely true. Well,
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, 46 points, 16 rebounds, and 9 assists. There's not too many guys I would take over Jason Tatum in the league. And, I'm tired of the narrative about the off-the-court stuff. I really am. It really, makes me mad because Jason Tatum is disrespected, and he shouldn't be. He's one of the best players in the league. And if you were making a player, say in 2K, is there any more of a perfect type of player than Jason Tatum? He does everything. He's
Yeah, he does.
6'10".
Yeah.
And he can do everything on the
16
floor.
rebounds last night.
There's not a flaw in his game. And
Also-
last week, okay, let me go on a rant. Last week we had Randy on the show. And he goes, the only downside of Jason Tatum is that he's corny. Bro, I don't care that he's corny. I'm talking about basketball. I'm talking about what's going on the court. I don't care what's going on off the court. I don't care what he does off the court. If he's hooping on the court, that's all that matters to me. This is a basketball podcast. This is not he's going to the club it's not off the court podcast.
You're right, but he does do that corny stuff.
Who
on
cares?
The court.
I mean,
He does it on
a basketball
he does
show.
it on the court.
This is
but
a basketball
I understand what
show.
you're saying.
What does he do on the court that's corny?
Literally copies Steph the year they won the chip, KG, like all
I'm
their
talking about when the
quotables
game is
on the
going.
court.
When the clock is rolling.
It was on the court. It was
When the
not
clock
on
is
the court.
rolling.
What was he copying?
They were interviewing bro after they won the championship. He
Bro.
hit the KG quote. He hit the
When he
Steph
says
quote.
on the court-
What they gonna say about us now?
He's
It's on the court. No, I understand, but it's on the court. It's not
When the
away
time
from
is rolling.
basketball.
Talking.
It's not
Why do we
away
care
from
about what he's
basketball.
saying after he wins the championship? Shouldn't we be focused on what he did to win the championship?
And
now
nobody
we're hating
discredits
on-
that. And nobody I don't.
Everyone
At least
discredits that.
I
though.
don't.
Everyone
I
discredits
say
that.
he's the best player on that team. But bro does be doing some silly shit.
And it doesn't matter. So did everyone else. And
We'll see if it matters
just
this
because we
year,
don't see
you know.
everyone's
We'll see.
off the court stuff doesn't mean that
No,
they're not.
I'm not like totally disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, but also like I understand the type of player he is, and if they win the chip again this year, there's nothing you can say about bro.
Yeah, that's
But
facts.
that stuff was making the rounds on the internet. I thought it was pretty entertaining. It was pretty funny. I was like, damn, that's funny. But I agree with you, bro. He's very like by those people
Underrated.
who do that, he's underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, just disrespected, honestly. Like, I just have never seen a player this good and do everything on the floor at a elite level and then be disrespected like this and not taken
I
seriously
can separate them though. Most people can't separate like
on the court and off the court.
like I know I will
Pretty
physically
sure
100%
LeBron's been
admit
hated
he's
like
going.
that his whole career, right?
Hey, and
I
LeBron's a
guess,
goat.
yeah,
Like-
that's true.
Like,
Also,
that's what I was like. Jason Tatum is set up to be close to
and I like what he.
like LeBron status.
Yeah.
At the rate he's going right now.
I
With
think
all
he's
this-
more of a
with all this
Steph
hate-
status.
Because LeBron was
But-
getting hate like this when he left to Miami.
Yeah.
And everything.
But I like how he said that. He knows, like, and he's like, I'm trying to take on the responsibility of being like LeBron and Steph for the new generation once they're gone. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
I see Tatum as more of a Steph guy because he's so like humble and he's gonna stay with this one team. He's not gonna leave the Celtics in his career. He's gonna be loyal. And he's just not someone that does anything like bad, like off the court. Like he is a family guy. He's like very,
I hope most
humble
people
guy.
I hope most people.
No,
are
but then
doing
there's
this off
guys
the
that are
court.
like,
Yeah.
there's different types. I mean, like
Shout
Anthony
out Ja.
Edwards.
Shout out Ja.
Like Anthony Edwards, Jaw type. Like obviously everyone loves them, but they're not like Jason Tatum maturity level.
Yeah.
That's like, off the court, just sticking to himself, handling business, not causing any drama, and then he's so detained on.
He's a pro for sure.
Yeah.
And he's probably the best. He is the best player on his team.
What do you think about
for
his
sure.
son?
Huh?
Don't.
Story for another time.
Don't. Yeah, well, the disrespect on Tatum is getting out of hand, honestly.
I've been saying that for like the past month.
I have been saying that.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I mean, we also got to say Jaylen Brown quietly scored 37 points.
yeah, 37 for JB.
But then we look at the rest of the Celtics squad. Look,
Derek White, 16.
16.
Yeah, Derek White was the only other player in double figures with 16.
Like, if-
All those whites weren't cooking off the bench.
No, they
dude?
were not. They
Wow.
were not. Peyton
Surprising.
Pritchard was a negative 36 on the floor. Peyton Pritchard was a minus 36 when he was
That's
out there.
surprising.
And that's not, that's not.
What do you mean they cook? Yeah, they're nice. They have
Nothing.
literally 4 of the 5 best white players in the league, right? And they're
That's
all
not true.
disgusting.
That's not true.
The Celtics.
Repeat that.
I'm just saying.
4 out of the 5. I said there's still one more left. If you want to put
the
Dog
two,
in there.
the two best are on the
McBuckets.
Lakers.
Yeah, Luka, AR.
Austin Reeves isn't white, bro.
We need to move on. This is getting out of hand. Also, Luke Cornett was a minus 26 on the floor, so those guys were not hooping, like you said.
Oh, yeah, no.
But, you know, the
That's
Cavs
crazy.
were just cooking them. Cavs were just cooking them, getting them in pick and roll action. Donovan Mitchell getting to the rim whenever he wanted.
That's going to be a fun series, dude.
It's
I
going
hope
to be a fun
that's the
series.
Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals.
I still have faith in the Knicks, but it's getting a little risky to say that
Scary,
now
yeah.
because they
They're,
haven't beat any good teams.
Yeah,
so.
they're struggling lately.
Yeah, against the good teams, they don't win.
Yeah.
To be fair, for
yeah.
the Celtics, they did not have Porzingis or Holiday.
Yeah, that's a
So-
big miss.
Oh, they didn't have
See,
Drew.
we didn't even mention
They
that.
have Drew, bro.
That's why Sam Hauser's on the floor getting
I will
cooked.
say
Yeah,
Drew
that's
definitely
true.
has declined this year.
Yeah, that's why Sam Hauser has 38 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's also the thing though, is that like health with them is what you have to worry about, especially with Kristaps, because he's always been risky on his health.
For sure.
And I
And
think
Drew's
if
older,
if they
too.
run
Yeah.
into the Cavs or in some sense the Knicks, that could be that'll be an issue. for
Health,
them.
yeah.
Health
If-
will be an issue
if they're
because they're
not
going to
healthy.
have to compete fully that whole series. It's
Yeah.
not going to be like a 5-game series. It's going to go 7.
Yeah, you know
That's
Tibbs
why-
going to play all those players
Yeah.
the whole game anyway,
Yeah.
so.
That's why I'm picking the field over I'm picking the
Yeah.
Celtics to win it all this year because everything has to go right to win a championship. Like anything can happen in the playoffs. Someone can get hurt and then, or someone else on the other team can get hot and have a crazy series. Anything can happen, and I just don't think we're going to see any repeat champs for a while.
Especially 2 in a row. That's like 2
Yeah.
years of everything just
And
going the
everything went
exact
perfect
way
for
you
the
needed
Celtics
to go.
last
Yeah.
year. They played the Pacers in the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals. Like, can't really get much of an easier
and the
route
Cavs
than that. Weren't the Cavs this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Guys were
Garland
too
was still
bright for
coming back
Jared
from
Allen,
his-
huh? That's
what he said. Yeah, lights
Them
were
brights
too
were
bright.
too light, bro.
Brights were too light. Well, we can move on to Jackson's favorite game of the night: the Clippers at the Lakers. Lakers have won 5 in a row. This game they won 106-102.
Mid.
Luka had 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals on his 26th birthday. He's only 26 years old, man. And,
Where was this one at?
in LA. In LA. In the
I'm just
Staples
kidding.
Center, though, or in the Crypto.com arena, though. So Lakers were technically the home team. But, Braun had 28 and 13. Gabe Vincent had 7. Good game from Gabe.
Shout out Gabe.
Don't get that too often. No, he's had a good, better
He's
year.
been
He's had a
good
better
recently.
year.
His
Yeah.
last few games, he was due to have a shooting slump.
Yeah.
Last few games, he hasn't shot well from 3, but his defense has been so impactful. Everybody
True.
in that team's defense
He's
has
a
just been
good-
so locked in. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
He's a good playoff player. I think that's a smart pickup, even though he kind of has down in the
Yeah,
regular season, but in the playoffs, he'll hit some shots
I
and
think
play defense.
he's a very complimentary piece along Luka,
Yeah.
AR, and LeBron.
That's a good point. Another guy I like on the Lakers is Jordan Goodwin.
That's
Yeah, he comes in.
That's my IC
Oh,
for this
okay.
week.
Well, say it right now, Jordan Goodwin wearing the mask, just got signed out of nowhere after the Luka trade, and he's made a huge impact. He full court presses after every time he makes a bucket, and I love guys like that. That just
he's-
play as hard as they can in the minutes they get.
He's 6'4", 200. Like the dude is he's not a great 3-point shooter, but last 8 games he's averaging 6 and 4 off the bench with a steal.
Yeah,
In like 17 minutes a game, especially because losing Max Christie, we needed
Mhm.
somebody to fill that on-ball point of attack defender role.
Yeah.
And him and with Gabe Vincent too, when both of them are on the floor together, it just causes havoc
yeah.
for those opposing guards.
Yeah. Jordan Goodwin, he just comes in and he makes an impact, and JJ loves him already too. I think
Yep.
JJ talked about him. in
JJ
the
already said
halftime
he's
thing,
setting
yeah.
the rotation
Yeah.
for the rest of the year, so he's probably going to be converted to a standard at some point.
That's big. That's big.
Which means Cam Reddish is probably gone, but
Damn.
he's the only guy on an expiring.
Wow. Cam Reddish. I thought he was going to be really good. DFS at 7, Dalton Connect had 8. Just a bunch of guys off the bench with, a couple points that were
whole lot of-
impacting everyone.
a
It
whole
was
lot of
Luka,
people
LeBron,
with
and then
5
everyone
points.
else.
Yeah. 7, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 5, 6, 8.
Just
3.
contributions from everyone, honestly. And AR left this game, though.
After 9,
Yeah, he left this game after 9 minutes with a little calf soreness, it said.
They
but-
said it was just precautionary.
Yeah.
So
he'll be fine.
at first I was like, here we go. Rui got hurt the other game. He's out
Right.
for at least a week with left patellar tendinopathy.
What?
Patellar tendonitis.
Okay.
Oh, I was like,
yeah,
huh?
that's the same thing. But that's more off of circumstance, like pain management
Yeah.
for him. That's all that is.
Mhm.
But Reeves being out precautionary is huge because now, that also gave a chance for Luka to really try to okay, he needs to be the focal point of the offense.
Yeah.
At least they're in a spot where they can afford to, lose a couple.
But LeBron and Luka playing on back-to-back, they really believe they can, make noise in the West.
Yeah.
Because
LeBron and Luka,
I'm scared of the Lakers for sure.
Any other time, they would have rested both of them.
They're playing back-to-back and Zion's not, bro.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a second.
Cheers.
All right, we are back at the Beam City Sports Bar, going over the games last night around the NBA. The Knicks were at the Grizzlies last night. What a game over there in Memphis. New York Knicks were down most of the game. Brunson, clutch player of the year in my opinion, leading the league in clutch points, came and dropped 23 to bring them back into this game with a ton of clutch shots. OG Anunoby did hit the game-winning 3, though. So what a game last night in Memphis. How are we feeling?
Yeah, that's what a team looks like when you actually know how to hit threes. Like, they were killing them on the outside. I mean, it came down to the third quarter, fourth quarter when they started to light it up, but I was just wishing that the Kings hit threes like that all the time. But yeah, that was a great game.
Great game.
Like, it was
two fun teams.
Yep. Knicks were down for most of it at the beginning, but then it was just like tug of war, like back and forth at the very end.
Yeah.
Few lead changes, but big time shot from OG at the end.
Yeah, big shot from OG. What a pass from Jalen Brunson, unselfish. After hitting a 3 before that to give him the lead, then Ja Morant came down, hit an and 1 to give the Grizzlies the lead back. He had 25 points, Ja Morant, and then Brunson drove to the hoop, got 2 defenders on him, kicked out to OG, and then game-winning 3 right there. So, shout out to the Knicks. I hope they continue winning. I really want them to, make a run out there in the East. They're probably my favorite team out East, so fun to watch them. Also, Deuce McBride is one of my favorite players in the league. He had 17 points last game, and even anywhere the Knicks go, the fans love Deuce McBride. All the Knicks fans in the building. Every time he gets the ball to shoot the 3, they'll go Deuce, and then he'll hit the 3. No, he's really fun to watch. He also had a poster last night.
Yeah,
so,
that was insane.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, a great game. 114 to 113 was the final. Desmond Bane 24 points.
Shout out
Jaren with 18. How are we feeling though about this game?
Super fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, watching the highlights at the end of that game, it was pretty crazy. And then, sucks for Ja that he couldn't, finish that layup. But being honest, I don't really like game-winning layups. So, I wasn't too mad that he missed that.
So Dev doesn't like game-winning layups, of course.
Hate him.
Ja was going to the hoop trying to get fouled, but the refs didn't give him a call. They usually do that at the end of the game. They don't want to, end the game on a foul. So
that's disgusting.
Yeah. Jackson, I wanted to hear your thoughts from this close game. How you feeling about the Grizzlies? How you feeling about the Knicks?
The Knicks have struggled all year beating good teams.
That's true.
So this is a good win for them. But on the other side, I just don't see the Grizzlies making any noise in the playoffs.
Not a believer?
I don't know. It's just, if Jaren's your best player, no knock on him, he's a great player, good defensively, Ja took a step back. Desmond Bane is not the same player he was 2 years ago, which his sophomore year was his best season.
Mm-hmm.
In their bench, just there's no solidified roles off the bench, I feel like. I feel like I see a different guy getting different minutes every night.
That's a good point. They have so many guys.
They do, and that's the problem. Like Conchar, Jay Huff, both those guys should be getting minutes too, and then you don't have them. And then also G.G. Jackson was out, so he should be playing too. And then just having too deep of a roster sometimes is an issue. And then at the deadline, I also said they should have consolidated.
Yeah,
trading guys together, and they kind of did that with Marcus Smart, but then they just got Marvin Bagley, which I feel like if they had consolidated and gotten a guy that's can benefit them, like Cam Johnson
would have been
exactly perfect for them.
Yeah.
But they don't really have that wing. Like Jalen Wells, good rookie, probably rookie of your favorite or first or second.
One or two.
Second.
One or two.
Cass was first.
Cass was right up there. Yeah.
But shout out him from Sac and all that.
Yeah.
But you can't trust him as your small forward
in the playoffs. Yeah, we'll see in the playoffs. He's a great defender. He had one of the best games guarding Steph Curry this year. He just puts his head into the defender, doesn't let him touch the ball, and that's something that I think he'll do in the playoffs a lot. So we'll see how that goes for Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, last game we'll go over is the Timberwolves at the Jazz. The Jazz won this on a game winner by Walker Kessler. A little dunk at the end of the game. Timberwolves defense fell apart. Isaiah Collier had 14 assists, so he's been balling at the point guard position. I love his game. Actually, I think he's going to be really good for them. And Bryce Sensabaugh as well. Talked about him earlier in the year. And then John Collins with 29 points. I wish he was on a different team, man. Honestly, I wish the Kings got him.
In Sacramento, man.
His contract was just really high.
Yeah, it was a big contract to pick that up.
Yeah, but this is a bad loss for Minnesota. No Anthony Edwards in this game, though, because of his suspension. He's
what did he get suspended for?
16 techs.
Yeah, 16 technical fouls.
Oh, that did happen the other night.
Yeah, he got ejected in the Laker game the other night. And
Okay,
then,
I thought it was something that I didn't hear about. But
So, yeah,
I forgot he got his
And
16.
then I guess last night he didn't leave the court in a quote unquote timely manner.
that was the Laker game. That was the Laker
For
game.
some
the
reason I just
ball
saw the
into the
post.
stands.
Okay.
Yeah, into the stands.
So,
For
I
some reason I saw
mean,
that.
that's
like,
fair, then.
It just
He's
got posted like
stupid
30
for
minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think he has like $500K in fines this year.
Hey, that's nothing to
Hey,
him.
bro
That's
told,
not that
bro
big
told Obama
contract,
he was
man.
tripping, bro.
Yeah, well, Terrence Shannon, Luka Garza were guys that were playing. Naz Reid went off, but not enough for Minnesota. If Anthony Edwards continues to get technical fouls, this team is going to continue to lose games. So
Yep.
I kind of hope they do.
Kind of reminds me of a Draymond Green situation that
Definitely.
year. He was, got his 16th, and I think he got suspended another time in the playoffs for Tex, and then got suspended for the whole,
Yeah.
meat touching thing. So, pause. But yeah,
True
that's
that
kind of what and that kind of in my opinion, really hurt the Warriors in that series where they lost the 3-1 lead that suspension and all the suspensions before even. So it kind of reminds me of that situation, and you hope he can kind of tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. He said he doesn't want to be the face of the league, but he still does need to tone it down a little bit.
Definitely a great loss for us with the Timberwolves right in front of us.
We need all that. Yeah.
Only half a game right behind them.
Yeah.
Game and a half out of 6. So it's looking nice right now.
Yeah. Well, we can move on to ICU. Some guys around the league that are, underrated, that are balling. My pick for this week is Killian Hayes from the Brooklyn Nets.
Hey.
Got signed a couple weeks ago, and he's been playing really well. Had 16 points the other night, and then game before that he had 19. So shout out to Killian Hayes, man. I thought he was going to be out of the league, but never praying on anyone's downfall. Good to see him back in the league, getting minutes, and hopefully he can, continue to play with Brooklyn and make an impact.
Yeah, kind of surprising. I remember his name coming into the league, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna be one of the bigger names in the future. But dude just never found his stride. But it's great to see him out in Brooklyn right now. I feel like Brooklyn always finds these kind of obscure players.
Very
and
true.
Kind of brings them back.
Yeah.
He's still semi a younger guy too,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
definitely younger guy.
Yeah.
So hopefully he kind of, like
He's
you're
only
saying, recaptures.
23 years old.
23 years old.
Kind of
yeah.
finds it in Brooklyn, and can maybe be one of those guys that, because what we all know what Brooklyn's doing, they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
So hopefully he could be one of those guys that kind of sticks in that core of people.
I think
but
Jordy
we'll
might
see.
unlock him a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you feel about Killian?
He's
Not a big fan.
He's Hate Watch's number one player.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He has moments like that, but I've never really been a believer in him. Mechanic wise, it looks cool on the shots. Okay, he has some moments where it's all right, the movement looks good, but then he just misses the entire rim, man. He can't be doing that as a point guard. And I don't know. It's just he's with Brooklyn. So maybe he'll help with the development. Zaire Williams is an example of that this year. He didn't really get much development with the Grizzlies. And he's had a solid year, 10 points for him.
Yeah.
But, so maybe Killian takes that step too. But it'll be really interesting to see that.
Next year, I think.
Yeah, I think next year,
Curious to see.
if they keep him, he could be a backup guy, especially in that, the D-Lo role.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be there next year.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine some type of, probably a contender will sign him to a smaller deal.
D'Lo?
Yeah.
D'Lo
I
comes
could
off the
see
bench
that.
right now.
As a back, yeah.
That's just because Jordy's trying things out. I feel like it doesn't really matter that much. Well, we can go to Luke's Lock of the Week. Luke's Lock of the Week.
Gonna be sticking with the. I guess I kind of made a lock earlier today, but nobody's gonna see it. Zach LaVine over 25 points. But another one is against the Mavs. The Kings will definitely beat the spread because we are not favorites right now.
Yeah. Even without AD.
Even without AD, we are not favorites.
Do you know what it is exactly?
It's -1.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Close
the
one.
Mavs are -1.5. So Kings are going to dominate that. I think we're going to also we're going to kill the Mavs.
All we got to do is win by 2 points.
We're going to that's
a spread.
Easy bet.
Yeah.
Easy bet right there. If you're a betting man, pick that. And then I just don't like the disrespect that the NBA is throwing at us, or ESPN, or whoever is coming up with these
Nothing new.
these odds right here.
Nothing new.
But Luke's Lock of the Week. bet for the Kings on the Mavs, and then Zach LaVine tonight, 25-plus points.
25 for Zach.
Yes,
Hopefully
sir.
he gets it.
It's going to be, tomorrow morning when you watch this video, you're going to be like, oh, shit.
He hit 25?
He hit 25.
He's like, damn.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can move on to the main topic of the show, unless Dev has a disappointment.
Oh, shit. Nah, no,
I don't
right
think
now.
Vibes are good. No
Vibes are
disappointments
good.
for
No
Dev right now.
disappointment. Yeah. Except for the Warriors winning.
Yeah.
That's his disappointment.
That'll be a low-key one, yeah. Warriors need to stop winning, bro. That's killing me.
Yeah. Well, all right. We're going to X Factors, the main topic of the show. X Factors for every playoff contender. We'll start out east with the number 1 seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm going Evan Mobley as the X Factor, man.
Okay.
Evan Mobley, I think, is definitely the X Factor for this Cavs team. If he can hit shots like he has been all year, we saw in that Celtics game, first half he wasn't hitting, and then second half came up clutch, hit some threes, and that made the Cavs put him over the top. So I think, he might win Defensive Player of the Year as well. So
I like that one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a player that I could have chosen. But I got to say, they traded for him, DeAndre Hunter. I think DeAndre Hunter's going to push him off, coming off the bench right there, getting 12, 15 points a game in the playoffs. I feel like that would be a huge help for them. DeAndre Hunter for sure. We talked about it earlier. He's a perfect fit for them.
definitely.
So, yeah, I'm going with DeAndre.
I think those are both good picks. I might probably lean a little bit more DeAndre Hunter just because, he's got the ability to, like you said, put up those 12 to whatever off the bench. And then he's probably going to, have a big role defensively because he's a pretty good defender. We all know that. So I would probably lean a little bit more that way. But I think those are both good picks for sure.
Yeah.
That Cavs team is just so widespread.
We might have a lot of X factors. We'll see.
I was going to go DeAndre Hunter, but I think we've seen what he can do in recent years when he was on those Hawks teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think mine's Ty Jerome.
Ooh.
Just because being that guy, especially taking in those minutes from what LeVert was their sixth man, scoring-wise, I think if he can be what he's been all year, basically, for them, that's going to be huge.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome is a huge part, and I just love his game, man. He's a baller.
I feel like people forget about him a lot. I forget about him, but Ty Jerome, that's a great pick right there.
Yeah.
This Cavs team is so deep. It's so deep. Pause.
Well, let's go out west to the Thunder, number 1 seed. My pick was J-Dub, Jalen Williams. Last year in the playoffs, he didn't have a horrible playoffs, but he didn't have a great one. And I think the Thunder need more out of him. Been saying it all year. I don't know if I believe in him as a number 2 guy on a championship team, and we're going to see it this year in the playoffs. Can he be that number 2 guy? And if he doesn't perform like we think he can, I think the Thunder are going to make a move, not trade him, but get a real number 2 to go along with Shea.
I see that.
And let J-Dub and Chet be the 3 and 4 best options.
I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah.
I was also going to maybe throw in Lou Dort right there.
I like that.
Because, I like picking people off the bench that will make an effect. Because we have the starting lineup, and they're always going to kind of make an effect right there.
Hey, Dort's in that starting lineup.
He is?
Definitely in that starting lineup
I
every
thought
game.
he came off the bench.
Never.
Starts at the 3,
Never.
number 2.
Shit.
It's okay.
With Shea.
My bad. I don't know ball. I'm not locked in.
You're locked. It's okay. That's a good pick, though.
Yeah, but no, I agree with that. Also, I want to point something out on Google. If you look up the Thunder's player stats, or the players, Jalen Williams is for both Jalen.
I see that. They have Duke Dennis looking J-Dub or Jalen Williams for both.
That was
That's
pretty funny.
Yeah, well,
But
J-Dub, though.
J-Dub, though, is definitely the X Factor right there, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Any disagreements?
I won't disagree, but I put something different. Hear me out. I put Chet. I know that might be an obvious one, but just because we haven't seen it a lot this year because of the injury, and I think that's a guy who can be an extra, tough shot maker on offense. He's that's an underrated way to stop the bleeding at times. If they're getting scored on, can't score, that might not happen a lot, but he's one of those underrated guys that could help them out. And then the rebounding, all around size, rim protection, just because we haven't seen it a lot this year, and I think it's going to be important going into the playoffs. I did say Chet, but I won't disagree with J-Dub.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah. I like
Him
that
playing the
reasoning.
4 with Hartenstein could be really, scary come playoff time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mine's Aaron Wiggins.
Oh, save
I really like him. Yeah. He's having a great year, 22 minutes a game, averaging 11 on about 45 or 50% from the field, actually. And then 38, 39 from 3, 86 from the free throw line.
Yes,
Does all of it, He does everything for him. He defends decently well. I just think it's a guy that they're able to really plug and play whenever he needs to. Whenever they need him.
He's a perfect guy off the bench
and
for them.
I think he's their first guy off the bench now.
They have a deep roster.
They do.
Too.
I
I mean, they still have Caruso. Caruso didn't even play last game, and that was just a coach's decision.
I haven't seen him play in a while.
Yeah.
I
Off the
haven't really
bench, they
heard
got
anything
Aaron
about him.
Wiggins, Cason Wallace, who's really good,
Cason
underrated.
Wallace is doing-
Isaiah Joe.
Caruso and Isaiah Joe.
That's
Oh my God! And then you mix the minutes up with Hartenstein and Chet in that starting lineup. Have one of them in at all times playing the 5. So
And Kenrich Williams.
yeah, that's a scary team.
So,
They got
like,
90.
if the organizations keep their players like this, can we see a potential Thunder and Cavs like series in the finals?
Hey, I would love
Like,
that.
just like the Warriors and Cavs did.
I feel like it's the most likely.
Yeah, like
think-
just like
yeah,
down the road.
I think this is the most likely matchup, just how they've projected this whole year.
Yeah.
The Thunder are, I think I saw it was like 21-1 against the East this year.
Oh my
The only
Lord!
losses against the Cavs.
Damn, and they lost by a lot, I think.
Yeah, they got blown
That
out.
was bad.
Yeah, and then came back
But then
the
they
next
blew them
day.
out the next
yeah.
day.
Yeah. So it's like
yeah, so I think that would be a 7-game series, and also it would really put the league into that like new era.
They
Yeah.
definitely
like
would.
really young teams,
Mhm.
both with a lot of potential over the next years. And so, I mean, there's also the Celtics and all those teams
Yeah.
too, like with the history that they have of like winning. But I
Mhm.
think I would really like to see it finals of like 2 younger teams.
That would be
Yeah.
really fun to watch. Yeah,
I'm down
definitely
with that.
agree. Well, we can go on to the Celtics. My pick for them was Porzingis. Staying healthy. If he plays in the playoffs fully healthy, this really puts the Celtics to almost that unbeatable tier. Even though I'm picking the field, I still think if they have a fully healthy team, Porzingis is definitely the X factor. He makes it really hard to guard those guys, stretches the floor. There's not a lot of guys that can guard a 7'3" guy who's shooting the mid-range and the 3 so well, and just unlocks their whole team.
I agree. I mean, I won't really say that it was a big part. I don't want to say it's a big part of my criteria because I don't really think it was criteria or whatever. But I will say that I do agree with that because I did kind of go more towards guys that are maybe haven't played a lot because they have been injured, and just because they're going to come back. And if they're going to come back and be what we know they can be, then a guy like Porzingis, yeah, that's going to be. Like we said, I got you with them. I'm taking the field. I'm not taking the Celtics. But like you said, I agree 100%. That could push them over the top for sure.
For sure.
I would say Kristaps, but I feel like Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, they need him to stay consistent in the playoffs for sure. Obviously, he's probably going to be 6th man of the year this year. He's been consistent all year. But when it comes down to the playoffs, you need your bench to kind of just keep going and keep your starters fresh and score some big points.
Yeah.
And Peyton does exactly that. So I feel like they're going to need that all playoffs from him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last game against the Cavs, he was a -36, and then they lose. He only had 6 points. So when he scored 20, they're also almost unbeatable.
That's the
Who do you have for the Celtics?
I'm picking Drew.
Yeah.
His defense is just so vital for them on that perimeter. I know they're a good defensive team regardless, but I just think if he is 35, so that is kind of my issue. Is that can he play at that level for those amount of games in the playoffs for that elite level defense that we've seen him do for so many years?
Mm-hmm.
He's not shooting great this year. He's shooting the worst he's shot in a long time from 3. About 34%.
Yeah, I mean, they have so many shooters on that team.
Yeah.
They really need him for the defense and just kind of the
That's
glue
all.
guy. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, that's my pick right there.
I like that. All right, well, to the Nuggets, the second team in the Western Conference. This was a tough one for me. I picked Jamal Murray, though. Come playoff time, kind of an obvious one, but come playoff time, I think that, if Jamal Murray can unlock his playoff heroics against the Lakers, we've seen it a lot.
New era.
Yeah, but if Jamal Murray can really be that number 2 guy again, like he was in that the championship run, then
Is he starting again, or is Russell still starting?
they start together.
They were starting together.
They start together now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braun took his spot recently.
Okay. Damn.
Well, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to
No, go.
interrupt. I was going to say Christian Braun or Westbrook, honestly. Both of them. I mean, Russell, he's had probably one of my favorite years Russell has ever had, just to see him happy again and just back and balling.
It's your guy.
Obviously, his stats aren't back to where they were before, but that's not going to happen when, at the end of his career, especially with Jokic and Jamal Murray, all these younger guys. But Christian Braun, too, I feel like he's probably had one of the one of the best breakout years, or not breakout, but kind of breakout years. Yeah,
say that.
He's averaging 15 a game this year for them.
Yeah, so probably one of the best breakout years in the league right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love his excitement. Like, he's had so many posters, and
so many.
I think most of them are on Gobert. And he just gets so hyped in front, like, just no matter who it is, him going into their face. It's pause. But I love Christian Braun.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog for sure. That was almost my pick, but then I had to go Jamal just because they need that number 2 guy. And if Jamal's dropping 30 again in the playoffs, they're going to be scary. Any other picks for the Nugs?
That starting 5, I feel like we know what we're going to get from them because we saw it all happen last year, years before that, and all that. So like Murray, Porter Jr., Gordon, Jokic.
But they had KCP.
Braun.
Now they don't.
Even Braun, I feel like he did good last year for them too off the bench.
He did.
Yeah, KCP, that role has not been filled, and that's been a huge issue for them all year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Strother though.
Yeah, they need the 3-point shooting.
They do not have a lot of depth on the bench.
Yeah.
And he has been, he was in the Rising Stars. He is a solid guy. He's averaging about 10 a game, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of Jordan Poole, actually.
Jordan Poole's
It's definitely,
Doesn't normally look like him, plays like him.
Yeah.
But the shooting that he can provide is definitely would be huge for them in the playoffs. And, being a guy that can substitute in, give you good quality minutes, especially there, would be what they need.
That would be big. And we've seen guys like Jordan Poole have playoff moments when he was on the Warriors of hitting half-court shots and hitting buzzer beaters that, just bring so much momentum to a team. And I see Julian Strother as being kind of that type of guy. Yeah. So I like that pick. All right, well, can we move on?
Yeah, I also had Murray down for basically the same reasons you did.
Respect.
I mean, we've seen it, and so so last year I feel like we kind of didn't see it as much, and he was hurt a lot last year, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if he can come back and, like you said, be that number 2 and do what he did in the year of that championship run, then that's what I put down.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Knicks, number 3 team out east. I had the Wings, OG/Mikal Bridges. Which one of these guys can be the number 3 option on the team? And that's really what it's going to come down to for the Knicks. They obviously know their top 2, one of the best duos in the league with Brunson and Cat, but they need one of those guys, OG or Mikal, to be the 3rd option. And on any given night, if those guys are not hitting their catch-and-shoot threes, then this team is a completely different team. They just need one of those guys to really step up and have, big moments in the playoffs. And I think they can.
I want to agree with that, but I just feel like they're their star players, so I'm not going to say they're really an X factor. Like, we kind of expect them to try and do something like that.
I don't know. Those 2 guys, it's really going to...
At least not Mikal. Like, I feel like Mikal's been really, inconsistent for a couple years, kind of.
Yeah. But same with OG. He's inconsistent sometimes.
That's true.
And some games he can hit 5 threes, some games he can go 0 for 8. So,
Off the top of the dome, I'm going to go Josh Hart, bro.
Yeah.
Just because he terrorizes the Kings.
He might be the 3rd best player on the team. Josh Hart really might be the 3rd best player.
And if he's rebounding, offensive rebounding like he does against us, I know all you other Kings fans know this. Like, dude,
Dude, we played them 1 time this year. Yeah. He does that against everyone.
I know, but
it's not just about
he's been doing that the last 2 years we've played him. I'm talking about that TNT.
He does that against everyone.
That TNT.
It's not just against the Kings.
I know, but it's even more. Dude, that TNT game 2 years ago, he had 9 offensive rebounds versus the Kings when they have 4 players on the court taller than him, bruh.
He does that every night.
So what are we doing, bruh?
He out-rebounded Anthony Davis a couple years ago.
It's just even more prevalent because it's against the team that we watch, and it's when there's so many big players on the court, and you have one of the best rebounders in the league, and he can't finish the defensive possession off on a rebound because Josh Hart's flying in there grabbing offensive rebounds. Like, oh, sorry, but I'd go Josh Hart.
It's all Hart, man. It's all Hart. That's all he plays with is Hart.
That's like a 4 out of 5.
That was a Tatum joke, huh, Courtney?
That's a Tatum joke.
I'm kidding. All right, well, who else for the Knicks?
I was surprised you didn't pick him.
Who?
Your guy, Miles McBride.
Yeah, that's
a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't use their bench a ton. He is averaging 24 minutes a game.
That's the one guy off the bench they play.
That's the one guy they will play, and I do think
sometimes.
He's in.
And that white boy.
Tyler Kolek?
Yeah, Kolek.
Yeah, he's a rookie. He won't play.
Yeah. But yeah, McBride, he's killing it this year.
That's pretty nice.
10 a game for them, off the bench. He's a good spark. He's played solid. He plays solid defense. Shoots good shooting splits. So it's, definitely a guy like, I feel like the starting 5, I can expect like there's gonna be games where OG goes off and then Mikal goes off.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what I was.
and Josh
thinking.
Hart grabs 9 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is that bench production.
Yeah.
So Miles
It's gonna be
McBride's
big.
gonna be huge for them because they really only run 6-7 guys.
Yeah. Yeah. That is going to be big. I wonder what they're going to do with the non-Cat minutes, like playing at the 5. That's
I
going
think
to
they've
be.
been going with Precious.
Oh, they actually have Mitchell Robinson back.
They got
too.
Mitchell
Robinson is back. So
too.
that's
I
big
changed
for
my
them.
answer. That's my X Factor.
That's a good one, yeah. Because if they want to play him and Cat together against a team like the Cavs or anything
They
that
can
can match
definitely do that.
them,
That'd
yeah,
be the
They
same
could
exact.
definitely.
That's
That'd be big.
that's the same idea that they used for the Nuggets.
yeah, true.
I like
And I think Mitchell Robinson can definitely fill the Gobert role for them if that's the goal. Like if you play a team like that.
Yeah, for sure.
5th round pick, bro. God damn.
Well, live on the show, Debo just got traded. As you can hear, Devin is not very happy about it. Debo Samuel just got traded
The Commanders.
to the Commanders.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, Dev.
I guess
Yeah, we
it's
don't
good
got-
for Jaden Daniels.
We don't gotta talk about the
Like,
stupid ass shit. Man.
Yeah, Devin's not happy about it.
No,
Commanders.
honestly,
next year, Super Bowl champs.
It's cool because
fine,
he's not
buddy.
gonna be the one, so it'll be good for him. But we can skip past this shit.
It's okay.
We can skip past it.
Okay.
It's okay, man. Well, the next team is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes, sir.
My X Factor for the Memphis Grizzlies was Zach Edey. They're going to
Really?
need some center play. With Jared Jackson not being a good rebounder, playing the 4, I think in the playoffs it's really going to be a big test on their center play, and Zach Edey is their guy. So, I would much rather see Zach Edey out there than a guy like Brandon Clark or anything like that, even though he's a solid guy. But, they need their backline defender to be a good rebounder in the playoffs. So I'm going with Zach Edey.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I went with Desmond Bane.
Desmond Bane?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players in the league. But I don't know. He obviously, like Jackson said earlier, he's not the same player he was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A year ago. But when it comes to playoffs, I remember 2 years ago he went off in playoffs. Like he was balling out.
He's a good player for forward, for sure.
I feel like he's definitely going to step it up when it comes down to playoffs and could definitely help that team out. Zach Edey, I wasn't expecting you to say Zach Edey.
Yeah. A rare one. Anyone else with some X Factors?
Whoever starts at small forward.
Yeah, it's going to be Jalen Wells.
If it's then it's just the defensive aspect. They need somebody to guard the perimeter.
Hey,
Very-
he does that.
Very impressive.
I think
that,
Jalen Wells is a great defender already.
that Memphis is doing this with 2 rookies starting on the court.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's the
but
Grizzlies' way, man. They always do this.
It's also the toss-up would be him and Gigi Jackson
Yeah.
Nah, that was mine.
because Gigi
Gigi?
Jackson last year was great.
I like it. Gigi's more of a bucket, though.
Yeah, but he does have some size to him. So he's a big guy
he
who
is
can
6'9",
who can space
210.
the floor.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I think when they're
6'9".
playing those good teams in the West with 2 good bigs, he could be a real factor for them. Obviously, X Factor.
True.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. All right, well. I like that. I like those picks. Well, moving on to the Milwaukee Bucks, the 4th team out in the East. I'm going with newly acquired Kyle Kuzma.
Oh.
They're going to need some production out of Kuzma
The
come
buy-in.
playoff time.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think they have their 2 solid guys, kind of like the Knicks, where they have Dame and Giannis. The Knicks have Brunson and Cat, and they're going to need that 3rd guy to step up. And Kuzma, he kind of needs to be that 3rd guy. Bobby Portis out; he'll come
only
back
25
soon.
games though.
Yeah,
So I'm putting Bobby as my X Factor.
Bobby when he comes back.
Yeah, because I feel like he's definitely gonna be that 3rd guy. He's been averaging a lot.
Yeah.
Before his
like Bobby
suspension.
He's a
a lot.
bucket. He
Yeah.
just pisses me off because they
Yeah,
just
for
give him
sure.
so many post touches when the offense could be way better ran than that. It's just get
Yeah.
Bobby the ball in the post, let him do a post fade. No, come playoff time, I don't think that's going to be a good recipe for that.
You look like Aaron Rodgers off them Perk.
Call him Perk Portis, man.
I like Bobby Portis a lot.
No, yeah,
though.
I'm happy the Kings didn't get him. Just to be completely
Yeah, because
honest.
then we would be without somebody playing for how long is he suspended?
Even if he was playing, I'm
Yeah.
happy we didn't get
True,
him.
yeah.
I was never a
Dude,
fan of the Kings
he would have
getting
been
him.
suspended for a lot worse if he was here in Sacramento.
That's kind of the thing. You were like, I wish we got John Collins too. I'd probably rather have Valanciunas over John Collins. Like if we couldn't get them both,
Whoa.
That's
I'd
a
rather
tough
have
one.
JV.
That's a tough one.
because honestly, I think they'd have to start John Collins.
Yeah,
That
and
is
then
true.
it's like,
so,
who do you take out?
Yeah, and then also
true.
no
That's-
big off
that's
the
true.
bench. Like it still didn't
Yeah.
solve that problem.
True.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I like that.
But I wouldn't have been mad if they did get John Collins. Like I was still pushing for him too. But
Yeah. I was a little iffy on it.
Yeah.
Just because he's shooting like 44% from 3, a career high. Yeah. And we know what happens when you come to Sacramento.
Zach just experienced
that's not gonna transfer over. So, Jackson, who do you have for the Bucks?
Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent, big fan.
He's been shooting the ball phenomenally this year, 43% for them. I just think, being a guy, especially for a guy like Giannis who drives a lot, being a guy that you can kick out to. Dame has history with them, from Portland, so I think he's going to be a guy that really needs to step up as, more of a third option for them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I can see that. It's either Kuz or Gary Trent, third option, kind of in the playoffs. So it's going to be important for them to figure out who their guy is. Moving on to the Lakers, X Factor for the Lakers come playoff time. Jackson, we'll start with you. Who you got as the Lakers X Factor? Because I have one that I don't know if you're going to agree with.
I know mine.
I got 2 obvious ones.
You can go. Dev,
you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay, Dev.
I put Rui and DFS.
Rui and DFS, the wings?
I put both of them, yeah.
I was flip-flopping between them.
Okay.
I think both of
Rui
them
down.
and Vando, actually. It's those three. It's the wings.
Yeah.
If they can play the level of defense they've been playing the last while, and especially Vando and Finney-Smith, that makes this team very hard to beat. The last 5 teams they've played, they've held under 102 points.
Wow.
And they've played the Nuggets, they played the Clippers, the Timberwolves.
That's impressive.
The defense is phenomenal.
Why are the Lakers?
And then if Finney-Smith finds some consistency on offense, that's just a plus. To everything
Vanderbilt,
else.
I know he's not a great offensive player. He has been shooting the ball recently pretty well.
He makes things happen too.
He does. He has caused so many issues recently for every star. He got Anthony Edwards ejected.
That's what I was going to say. He's the reason Anthony Edwards got ejected.
He was a big piece and went hard and went like 1 for 10 the other night in the second half and had 5 turnovers.
Yeah. Steph's going to cook Vando in the playoffs, though.
What happened last time?
Steph went crazy. What do you mean what happened? Just because the Lakers won, but Steph did go crazy. Vando was guarding him. No.
Vando locked him up.
No, he did not.
All of game 1, Vando locked him up.
Game 1, that was the game where Steph hit those crazy threes and then they choked in the end.
I don't know. I didn't watch this series, bro. I was too heartbroken to watch any more basketball.
I didn't watch any of this.
I think Steph has Vando's number. Even though Vando's one of the best guys to put on Steph, I still
Vanderbilt was the primary guy last time, and Steph went 4 for 17.
4 for 17. Okay, numbers don't lie.
I guess you're right.
And he was 0 for whatever in the second half.
Hey, I mean, numbers don't lie, but come playoff time, Steph is a different monster. I don't think anyone in the league can guard Steph come playoff time.
Keon.
Yeah.
Keon.
In the play-in, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Two different things.
Yeah. Well, my pick for the Lakers was Jackson Hayes.
That too.
They don't have any center. They don't really have another center. But honestly, the last couple games, Jackson Hayes has not been. Yeah, he's not going to play come playoff time.
Sorry, I brought that up.
He's not going to play. But with Jackson Hayes, they don't play him a ton anymore. JJ's kind of going with playing a no center type of lineup, and that means LeBron's kind of playing that center position with Luka running the point. LeBron's in the dunker spot, and it's working out.
So the last few games, Hayes' minutes have gone up because he has been playing a lot better.
Yeah.
He's a very switchable center.
Mm-hmm.
He's mobile on the perimeter.
The Lakers are optimistic that Maxi Kleber is going to be back before playoffs too. So how do we feel about that?
That would be interesting, but there's no. I mean, I know he plays good with Luka.
If they have the 9 guys that they have, Goodwin's a solidified guy in this lineup now. And off the bench, you still have Finney-Smith, Vanderbilt, and you still have Gabe Vincent. I don't really see any of their minutes declining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kleber could go in if maybe you need a little more size, and he is a better option than any other big that we have.
I just know he runs well with Luka too. I know he did good in Dallas.
Coming off of a broken foot and being out however long he was, I just don't. I mean,
it's gonna take a little bit.
I think he's just a depth piece that may get minutes sporadically, but not consistent.
I mean, the Lakers center play is definitely the X factor for me because if they run into a team like the Nuggets, then that's going to be scary because they have nobody to guard Jokic. I mean, actually, let me take that back. They just locked him up. So
Rui has been phenomenal.
Rui's solid down low.
JJ locked up.
Yeah.
Locked up Nicholas.
Every single time he got the ball, it was 2 guys flying at him. Yeah. And then it was always 2 6'8" wings like Finney-Smith, LeBron, Vanderbilt.
That might be the recipe.
That's why I put those 2 too because hopefully if they're playing good, they're going to take some of that slack off of not having not a playable center, but having a viable center. You know what I mean? If Jackson Hayes, is he starting?
Yeah.
If he's not doing, if he's not cutting it, then you go to that small line. Put LeBron at the center, and then put those wings in. and then Reeves and Luka. So I mean, that's take some of that pressure off.
The closing lineup they do a lot is with Rui and Finney-Smith and the other three.
And Braun, yeah, and Luka and AR. So
yeah, so it's definitely been one their best lineup. I think they're like holding teams under like 100 points with that lineup every time. And so, those wing, it's going to be basically all the role players on that team. Because after those three, any of those guys could be a huge X factor.
Yeah. I thought someone might put AR because being that third option, he needs to have a big playoff run, but he's really good.
He's had 2 years in a row where he's been a bucket in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think we know what he is, and we know
we know he's like that.
As much as I hate to say it.
He's like that. All right, well, we can move on to the Pacers, who are 5th in the Eastern Conference.
Looking good, man.
Yeah, looking good. Still got some holes in their team, boss, but I think their X factor for me was Benedict Mathurin.
That's what I'm Benedict or Miles Turner.
Yeah.
One of the two.
And they need that scoring. This team is just kind of a weird fit. They got guys like Obi Toppin off the bench who they're paying, a lot of money to, who, kind of just come in and catch lobs. I mean, I'm expecting a big postseason from Benedict Mathurin, though. He was hurt last playoffs, so they made it to the ECF without him.
Yeah.
So he needs to come in this playoffs and get some buckets for him.
Yeah, no, I immediately, right when I was like, oh, Benedict, going down immediately. I've always been a fan of Benedict.
Me too.
Very, very explosive player. And, I mean, Miles Turner, though, kind of having turnaround year from the last little bit. I know
he's always good, though.
He's always good. I just know he kind of struggled last year, I feel like. But, I mean, this Pacers team is really starting to, catch their stride, and they're coming together right now.
Yeah, I think there was something, they were 22-8 in their last 30 a couple days ago, so the Pacers are kind of hot right now.
Pretty
Give me Tyrese, bro.
Consistency?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And, I mean, if he gets back to that, we just watched him go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. I like that, Jackson.
I'm going Andrew Nembhard.
Yeah, that was almost my pick.
Yeah,
Nembhard.
He's
don't do that.
He's been good for them all year. He's
great defender.
Great defender, averaging about 10 a game. His shooting has been down this year. He's only shooting 30% from three. But
we saw what he did in the playoffs last year, though.
Exactly. That's the thing. He was huge for them last year. So I think he's going to be a huge X factor for them.
Defense is pretty great too.
He's one of the best perimeter defenders.
Being a guard that can penetrate and do a lot better in that aspect where Halliburton can't.
Yeah.
Right. He's not he's not going to be great at getting to the basket, getting all that. He's very good in the pick and roll. He's very good at facilitating and shooting open threes.
Yeah.
But he's not a great shot creator.
That's true.
Nembhard has a lot of Shea similarities in his game when you watch him stop on a dime, on the fast break, all those things.
He's got the handle.
Exactly. It's very familiar.
I agree with that. That's a good pick. All right, well, let's move on to the Rockets. Houston Rockets, who are 5th out west right now. Kings play them in less than an hour.
Yep.
Mine was, how will Sengun perform in the playoffs? We haven't really seen it yet with Sengun in the playoffs, and that center play come playoff time is really, really important. So that was my pick with Sengun.
I think that's a good one. I honestly think you can go any of these guys on this team.
You really can.
All young guys. We all got to see how they're going to do in the playoffs coming up. So for me, I put Jalen Green. He's having the best shooting year of his career.
I like it.
And, he needs to cut down on the turnovers a little bit.
For sure.
If he can start putting up 23 to 25 a game, I think he's close to that. Then, it's honestly a whole different team with a man and then Sengun. Sengun's probably, we'll see about him in the playoffs, like you said, but, he's been dominant this year. So
I like that.
I went Jalen Green.
Yeah, ball. I like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, anybody really, but I'm going to say MN, to really kind of, it's not really like an X Factor thing, but I feel like he should try and step up a little bit and maybe take a little bit of a lead role.
Yeah.
That's the kind of, not X Factor again, but I feel like that's the thing that needs to happen is they need a leader coming in the playoffs.
That's why you could really go any of them.
Yeah. But they need the one guy. They need one guy to go off all the time, and that's him right there.
I definitely agree with that. He has that potential too.
Yeah.
I think in the playoffs he might go off and take over that number one spot.
That's who they're building around for sure.
I'm going Jabari Smith.
Yeah. That was almost my pick too.
He got put on the bench for today, actually.
Yeah.
He's getting put on the bench, and they're keeping Ahmed in the starting lineup.
As they should.
So, I think being, he's 6'10".
Yeah.
He's a mobile defender. He came into the league for his defense. He has not shot the ball well recently, though, is the problem. So, it's that consistency offensively that would be huge for them, especially stretching the floor, because they do not have many guys that can actually do that.
That's true.
In a consistent manner. Like Van Vliet isn't good at it.
Yeah.
You know, Jalen Green, you never know if he's going to be Kobe or
Yeah.
Or go 1 for 12.
Consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so I think he's really the biggest part for them, especially being a former number 3 pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he hasn't really taken that leap like the other 2 guys ahead of him did,
Yeah.
like Paulo and Chet.
Yeah.
But maybe in the playoffs he'll show something and have that moment.
I can agree with that. I think he's big for them. I wonder what they'll do with that starting lineup because they want Dylan Brooks in there, of course. They have to have a man in the starting lineup, so Jabari kind of loses that spot. But I think he can come off the bench and make a big impact. All right, well, we're getting through these teams. The Detroit Pistons. I picked Jalen Duren, the center. Yeah.
I got Jalen Duren down.
Yeah, you know, he's very inconsistent, but some games he can look like
He goes
you
off,
know,
dude.
yeah, he can look. I don't want to say prime Shaq, but he can look like kind of a Dwight Howard-esque type of player in his prime.
He can
Agreed.
shoot a little
Blocking
bit
shots.
too, right?
No. Definitely
Who am I
not.
thinking of then?
Not him. Well,
Isaiah Stewart.
yeah. Jalen Duren some nights can be really good for the Pistons, but then other nights he just can't guard the pick and roll, and he just gets played off the court. So come playoff time, they need their big man to be solidified, and if they have to play Isaiah Stewart, then they got to do it. But I think if Jalen Duren can go off, then Pistons might be able to win a couple games.
That's
in the
what I was
playoffs.
thinking.
A
Yeah,
couple.
Jalen Duren needs to step up. I mean, I know his minutes has kind of been a little bit less lately. I thought they were, but I mean, if he can step up and keep it going right behind Isaiah Stewart, or if he takes the starting lineup from him, then I mean, yeah, Jalen Duren for sure is a big X factor for him.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm gonna just go random. Let's go Malik Beasley. If
He's
he
been going
could, if
off.
he
Going
could be
off.
that shooter,
His 3-point. Yeah.
if he could be that shooter in the playoffs, and he's a guy that wanted to stay here and wanted to be a part of this rebuild, then let's step up and take it upon ourselves and let's shoot good in the playoffs, and
Dude,
I think that'll really help him.
Yeah.
He's someone who should be in a 3-point contest.
Yeah.
I
He
don't know.
did last year.
Yeah.
But
Last
he
year he
didn't
was?
perform well because
Oh.
if you look at his shot, it's so like he gets off the ground so much. It's not very.
It's not the arms.
It's not easy.
A lot
of
like
the
with
shooters-
Steph, with
yeah.
Clay, like all of them like barely get off the ground.
Yeah.
He has to
Yeah.
jump fully.
That's true.
That might have been the problem with Kev too 2 years ago.
Yeah. Those guys struggle
But
with
yeah,
3-point contests.
for sure, you definitely that's the thing you always hear is like Kenny will be on there. Well, he don't get off the ground as much, so he can be able to get through everything quicker. Blah
Yeah.
blah. Yeah.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I was going to go with Malik, but I also remembered they have Tobias Harris.
Tobias.
Oh, J. Cole.
Jake Holt.
He's averaging 14 a game this year for them. He's been solid.
Yeah, solid. Solid bet.
Definitely a questionable decision by Philly now.
Yeah.
Maybe should have kept him.
What
over
even happened?
Paul
with
George.
that?
They got rid of him for
Wait,
Paul
just-
George.
yeah.
And then
For
Paul
Paul?
George decided to be a
they had to,
podcaster.
Yeah.
Money-wise. But yeah.
But he's having a great year. Even in just his recent games, he's had 16, 20, 22 points. Being the vet that can do that for them. His whole career, we've all known that he can score. It was really just the hate for that contract they gave him.
Yeah.
But he's always been a good scorer for them.
He always
and
can get a bucket.
being a second, third-ish
Jesus
option for that, for that, like behind Cade,
Yeah.
definitely can help. Plus, also having that playoff experience.
Yeah, true. He's one
So
of the older guys
he-
on the team. Come
yeah.
playoff time, that's
I've
going to be
always
big.
liked Tobias.
Yeah.
He's nice.
He's solid.
Yeah, he's nice.
He doesn't do a lot of things wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, moving on to the Clippers out west. Need them to keep losing some games. My pick was a weird one. It was Derrick Jones Jr.
20.
Derrick Jones Jr. from the LA Clippers. Last year in the playoffs with the Mavs, he had a big run, and that's why he got signed to a decent contract with the Clippers, and he's had kind of an up and down year. But come playoff time, if the Clippers can, have Harden and Kawhi playing together well, Zubac's been great all year.
Zubac's been amazing.
Derrick Jones Jr. can be that role player that they need to, get every loose ball, hit some corner threes, catch some lobs.
Yep.
That's my pick.
I just went with the obvious. Kawhi Leonard's health.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
They've been integrating him slowly. Like minutes haven't been up there to like most star players or usually star players. They play a lot of the game. They're kind of slowly integrating him in, and I think once he gets his minutes up, if he stays healthy, we've seen what that dude's done in the playoffs before with Toronto. So and San Antonio.
Yeah.
So honestly, Kawhi Leonard's health is probably an obvious one, but I think it's maybe one of the biggest things.
I agree with that for sure.
Do we still consider Kawhi a star?
I
or
mean,
just a very high-end role player now? Because he's averaging
Role player?
17.
Role player's
He's
kinda
averaging
crazy.
17 and playing
Is Russell
32
Westbrook
minutes
a
a
star?
game.
No.
No.
Then no, Kawhi's not a star.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was PG's team last year.
It was.
And then Kawhi's injuries just really derailed like him being the primary guy.
yeah. I mean, he's kind of a wait till the playoffs to give his full effort type of guy, so I guess we'll
Yeah.
see come playoff time. Clippers are kind of scary, though.
I got Zubac at
Zubac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zubac.
He's been going off all year.
But what I do have to say is the X factor will be his passing because dude doesn't pass at all.
No.
Like,
He just goes up with everything.
That's
Yeah.
not his game.
It's not his game,
Yeah.
but if he could figure that out, because there's definitely open shots when he goes up for like getting double teamed, and like he still takes the shot
Spray
no
it
matter
from
what.
the paint a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like if he can figure out how to kick it out a little bit more. I mean, obviously Clippers are doing amazing just the way he's playing.
Yeah.
But I feel like they can do even better if he's able to kick it out to get an extra point for a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. It's solid. All right. Well, we can move on to the Miami Heat. I had Bam Adebayo for my pick for the Miami Heat. We need more offense out of Bam. That's really all you
Yeah.
can say. With Jimmy gone, he needs to take over and be that number 2 scoring guy. Let Hero rock out, and Bam, you need to get your shots up. You need to hit some threes like you were earlier in the year. You need to be aggressive, and he just doesn't do that every night. And I really think the Heat could be a different team. With Wiggins now, with Davion playing well, I think Bam, he needs to take that leap offensively, but I just don't know if I believe in it on the offensive end. He's a great defender, but offensively, I don't know.
I was gonna say Jovic, Nikola Jovic off the bench.
Jovic.
Yeah.
Jovic.
Or Jovic. Sorry. Jovic. My bad. I'm white. But
Nicola.
no, yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like he can definitely make an effect off the bench. He did it last year in playoffs. He turned up, so I feel like I can do it again. So
I like his game.
yeah.
I like his game. Anyone else?
You guys probably know.
Jovic.
Who are you picking?
Give me my boy.
Davion?
China. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Davion, for sure. I mean, I honestly, dude, he just had a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
And I think spending that time in Toronto where he was able to kind of be the primary ball handler with no pressure,
Yeah.
like kind of really helped. And I think coming off the bench in Miami, he honestly, to me, is a guy that fits the Heat culture really well.
Perfectly.
And I think obviously playing that defense, but dude, he shot the ball pretty well last game, and he had a couple screens he came off, hit a couple floaters. I honestly, dude, if he could kind of get back to that rookie year when De'Aaron was out type, and maybe not even as good as that because he's going to be coming off the bench instead of starting, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, love Davion. Shout out. Any
Shout
other
out
any other
Davion.
picks for the Heat?
I was going to Kello Ware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can he carry over the production he's had as that starting center for them?
God, I love his game.
Because he's rebounded really well for them. He's been a great shot blocker. He really looks like light version of what Wemby is.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
can he carry that production over is the question.
Yeah, and let Bam play the 4, play what he wants to
Yeah.
play, and Khalil, he can shoot the ball, he can catch lobs every game. He's so fun to watch, man. I love his game. I wish the
Lobs.
Kings got him. Promise, really? All right, well,
No, you said blobs. You said
Oh.
catch blobs every game. I
catch
said
lobs. Catch lobs. Moving on to the Warriors. My pick for their X Factor was Brandon Pajemski.
Ooh.
Spell Pajemski. We're gonna try again.
Podzem.
I-E.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what did I say? Damn, I failed already.
Okay.
What? Spell it for me
I'm
one
not
time,
gonna
please.
fucking try.
Well, Brandon Pajemski's my X Factor for the Golden State Warriors.
Next time you ask me that, I'm gonna have it.
Him and Jimmy are a duo right now, and I love watching them play together. But he needs to step up in the playoffs and be, like a really good role player for them. And I think if he can continue hitting some corner threes, have a little playmaking out there, also guard one of the best perimeter defenders. Last year he led the league in charges, so that's going to be really important come playoff time as well. This Warrior team's going on a run, man. I'm telling you, he's going to be a big part. My boy Pods. All right, well, want to hear what you guys have.
I got JK.
Kuminga, he's been hurt
Yeah.
for so long.
I know, and him coming back, I think is going to be huge for them. He might not start over Moody. They honestly might keep Moody in that starting
They
lineup.
should.
No matter
They
what
will.
they do, though, I think he's going to be huge off the bench. That's another good defender off the bench. A guy that kind of does a lot of things differently from everybody else that they have on the team.
I like
He's
that.
kind of a more, I'm going to take it to the hoop, I'm going to get fouled, I'm going to dunk on somebody, and then I may hit a couple jumpers. I'm not going to take a lot. But I just like that style of play, kind of contrasting with everything else, how everybody else is just let's kind of be open and make sure we're open for Steph. I mean, I think it's going to be huge. And the finishing at the rim, and if he's in the game with Jimmy, I know Jimmy right now is kind of their point of attack defender. You know, Gary Payton's doing it, but he can't do it all game.
Yeah.
So it kind of take the pressure off Jimmy and a couple of those other guys.
Yeah. JK, I think he can really help in the non-Steph minutes.
Yeah.
That's really the most important thing for the Warriors is the non-Steph minutes. Having Jimmy has helped out so much, but having Kuminga out there in the non-Steph minutes can, get some more scoring going when they don't have Steph.
Yeah,
on the
I
floor.
think it's because he's a guy that can get his own shot.
Yeah.
Whether it's either a jumper, which it might not be, but he's a really good finisher.
Yeah,
at the
he's
rim.
super athletic. Who'd you guys have?
I'm gonna go Quinn Post.
Quinn Post.
Yeah.
Because that center rotation has not been strong for them this year. I mean,
Hey,
Trace Jackson Davis is
my boy
solid.
Trace, yeah.
He's solid, but can you really rely on him being, the main guy in the postseason, especially when you need height against teams like the Nuggets?
Yeah.
But Post has just been phenomenal recently for them.
Yeah.
And he's a rookie too, similar with Ware. Like I said, can he carry the production over?
Yeah. I think Looney will probably be more of an impact
think he'll
in the
play,
playoffs
yeah.
for instead of Post or Trace, even though I love both their games. I think Looney's just proven so much. And he had a good series against the Nuggets before, so I think if the Warriors play the Nuggets, then Looney could see some minutes.
I got Moses Moody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
Moses.
one.
I feel like Moses at that small forward position right there. I don't know. Every game that I've seen, like I don't watch the Warriors consistently, but every time that I watch the Warriors, I see him going off, and he's always been the difference maker.
Hitting so many threes.
all the threes.
You
no
guys
matter
are talking
what.
about the game against the Kings.
No,
I'm talking
he's
about
just a good
because he went
shooter.
crazy
I'm
that
talking
game
about.
against the Kings.
I'm talking about just in general. Just
Yeah.
like anytime I do watch the Warriors, Moses Moody is going off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he's definitely going to be that little, the third person, right? Or honestly, almost the second person sometimes, like behind Steph.
Let's slow our roll there.
I'm just saying,
Let's
like I
slow
don't
down.
know.
I mean,
There's
I-
a lot of guys.
honestly,
There's a lot
that's
of
not
guys.
Would
crazy.
probably be more.
There's
It's
a lot
not
of guys,
ridiculous to
but
say that.
They have Jimmy Butler.
But yeah, but
we
Jimmy's
just-
not been doing like
we just
the
saw a
greatest.
game where Jimmy Butler
like,
had 5 points.
I know
but did have 7
playoff
assists.
Jimmy is different. So like, yeah, I know he's gonna step up and be alongside Steph right there. But I don't know. I feel like Moses Moody can crack a can of whoop ass open and make it happen.
Okay. I'm
I
down with
really
it.
like Moses.
I'm down
too.
with it.
Like Kuminga and Moody, been in trade talks for the last couple years. 2 guys that I absolutely wanted to trade for the last 2 years. I just really like them both, and I think Moody's a good shooter, bro. And
He is.
not even just because of the Kings games, but he's a knockdown guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like those picks for the Warriors. Expect a big run from them. Orlando Magic,
saying
though,
it.
they've dropped down in the standings. They were up at like number 4 earlier in the year, and now they're all the way down to number 8. The X factor for them is the 3-point shooting. Of course, they're the worst in the league.
Yeah.
Worst in the league, 3-point shooting, and Jalen Suggs' health.
That's the
They
thing.
really need Jalen Suggs
They
to come
need
back.
Jalen Suggs back before playoffs,
Yeah.
and I think that's the only way they can potentially make a good run.
And
in
I don't
playoffs.
know if Jalen Suggs will end up coming back this year.
That's his.
He might be out for the
I
rest
just
of the
looked
year.
it up, and it says that he's like full on working. Like it, he's optimistic to be back by playoffs.
We'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see though. But that's going to be the biggest thing. If Jalen Suggs isn't back for playoffs, they're eliminated first round.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I was gonna go KCP.
KCP.
I
he's
think
been
he was a
big
big
one,
signing
too.
for them in the summer because
Yeah.
of what he had done in Denver.
Yeah.
But I just think he has a history of being a guy that's come up clutch in the playoffs.
True that.
Right for Denver,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Lakers.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he will have better efficiency then.
He's
But
been horrible this year.
being a good
Yeah, it
point of
sucks.
attack defender too, though, is
Yeah.
important for them.
Yeah. That's true. He's probably their best perimeter defender.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jalen Suggs is also up there when he's healthy.
I
but
might lean Suggs.
I
Right
might
now.
lean Suggs right now, but if he's out, then you need KCP guarding those perimeter guys. But I don't have a lot of faith for this Magic team coming playoff time. I loved them early in the year. They're still one of my favorite teams out east to watch, but just this year, I don't have a lot of faith in them come playoff time. This offseason is going to be big for them.
They just need that one last.
They
piece.
need an Anthony Simons. They need
That would be perfect.
That would be
for them.
sick. Yeah,
That's who
they need a Trey Young kind of guy and get a trade for Capella too, and then they'd be
Simons
set.
would be a lot cheaper
Yeah.
than Trey
Oh,
too,
definitely
and he's
would.
still people don't understand. Like he's so good.
Anthony Simons is so
He's
good.
such a bucket.
He's so good.
He on the
Yeah.
Blazers
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
He averages
he
like
started
24
over.
games still.
Does he start over Scoot still,
Yeah.
or somebody starts over
He
Scoot
starts.
still?
They
Okay.
flip flop.
Yeah.
Like it goes back and forth every
Yeah, it
game or
does,
so.
it does. All right. Well, anyone else on the Magic before we move on? Flying through these teams now. All right, we're almost getting down there. The Dallas Mavericks. Dev, we'll start with you. Dallas Mavericks.
I said get their bigs back healthy.
That's the obvious one right there. Yeah.
AD obviously. Who's the? Sorry, I'm blanking on the
Lively.
Gafford. I really like Gafford. Lively's good. I think I like Gafford a little bit more, but yeah, honestly, just getting those guys back. They need that size, or else they're gonna get into a series where a bunch of teams in the West are gonna throw double big lineups at you. And I mean, that's the smart thing to do, like the Kings did in the, King Show, relating everything back to the Kings. I'm sorry, but that would be the smart thing to do, and it is a smart thing to do. So I think they get both of those guys back, and they can play three of them at the same time if they want to. It's just a tough matchup.
True.
Yeah, I got PJ Washington.
I do too. I have PJ Washington as well.
PJ, I don't know. It's just he's always been able to come up big for them, especially when they've been shorthanded on the bigs all year. So I don't know, the way he's been able to guard like pretty much every position this point. Mm-hmm. That makes a big difference. And if he can avoid an 0 for 9 game in the playoffs like he did against the Lakers, then he should be all right.
Yeah.
But, I think PJ is going to be that guy for him.
Last year he was so good in the playoffs. Yeah. They even had a 2K My Team card for him where he was a 99 overall. PJ Washington in the playoffs. I got that card. But yeah, PJ Washington is
proud of you,
PJ Washington is really good. I know that's one of Jackson's favorite guys right now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, he needs to. He needs to. Yeah, I saw the note on Instagram. But PJ Washington, just don't talk smack to Steph. I'll say that. Don't say night to Steph because it'll come back to bite you. But I do think he's going to be a big part of this team come playoff time. So
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going with my guy Max Christie.
Yeah, Max Christie. That was
I think it's gonna be his first year as a guy consistently in rotation.
Yeah.
I think he's been put in that starting lineup as the 2 guard now, so it's going to be, I think, Kyrie, him, and Clay, and then the bigs.
Yeah. That's hard, low key.
But can he guard the best player? Is the question. Like we've seen flashes, and I've seen it consistently. When he was on the Lakers, now even on the Mavericks, he's shown a lot more offensively.
Yeah.
But 3-point shooting, not really worried about. He's always been a good shooter his whole career. It's the defense. Can he keep up with a guy like Steph?
Yeah.
Can he even Obviously, the defense against Steph would be all right. Funnel them all into AD and Gafford. But I just think it's all the question marks with him.
Yeah, I feel like the Mavs and the Lakers are going to end up playing in the playoffs, and when you have Max Christie, my question for him is he strong enough to guard a guy like Luka or LeBron? Because they're going to need him on one of those guys, and I don't think he's strong enough. He's not strong enough yet.
They would have to put him on Reeves, and that's fine. But
that's a good matchup for him.
But even Reeves has just been frying everybody.
Yeah, I love AR.
He's consistently averaging 20+ now.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, he's nice.
Best wide wing in the league? No, Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero.
I'm still taking Hero over Reeves.
They're both not white.
On the court.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can move on to the Hawks out east. I'm going Big O, Onyeka Okongwu, for the Hawks. Coming out of Chino Hills, I had a lot of faith in him being a really good player, and I think he's finally reaching that potential. I think if they play him over Clint Capella, that would be more beneficial for them.
Next year has to be the year they start center and move Capella off the team.
Yeah,
get him out of there. Right?
Yeah.
It should have been done a while ago.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I got Ricochet.
Yeah. Number 1 pick.
I mean, he's been doing pretty good, averaging like 12 points a game right now, I think.
Solid year.
But, with the playoffs, the Hawks they don't have anybody really to turn to besides Trey and then Johnson and
Well, Johnson's out for the year.
Oh, he's out for the year?
Yeah.
I missed that. Holy shit.
Yeah, find a key.
Damn. Well, still, I don't even think the Hawks make the playoffs now.
Yeah, they're 9th right now. This is really the play-in teams. I don't think they're going to make it.
They're not going to make it at all.
Yeah.
So, but Rissa,
It's a good pick. Develop him.
Yeah.
Honestly, whoever their best defender is Dyson Daniels. He's not hurt, right?
It's definitely Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, so give me Dyson.
Give me Dyson.
I think that's going to be huge for the Hawks in the playoffs, because especially after trading DeAndre, there might not be a lot of guys left that really play good one-on-one defense. So, I think if he plays good defense and you put him on their best offensive player, then that's a better chance than anything else they could try to do.
Good point.
Do the Hawks scrap everything soon?
Trey Young type?
Yeah, rebuild.
Maybe after
this
year.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
There's really not much. You have a good wing core. Johnson,
for sure,
Ricochet, and Dyson, but
and Big O with the 5.
Trey's. They even said is disgruntled after the DeAndre Hunter trade. Yeah. So I just think him and Capella are gone in the summer.
I could see that for sure.
R.I.P.
Yeah, a couple more teams. Minnesota Timberwolves. This is, an important one for the Timberwolves. I had Jaden McDaniels.
Me too.
That's going to be mine too.
Yeah, I think we all
Yeah.
had
That's
McDaniels.
unanimous right there.
Unanimous. I think the first unanimous.
Just needs to stay consistent.
Yep.
with
Man,
his shots.
he's been
Consistency.
balling lately too.
Yeah.
He's been
He has,
balling.
yeah.
Last year against the Nuggets, he went crazy, and he was a big part of why they beat the Nuggets in the playoffs. But yeah, he's really inconsistent though. He can have one game where he's really aggressive,
28 and then 2.
He came out and said that he forgets he's 6'9" and can dribble the ball sometimes. Because coming up through college, he was a straight scorer. He was just a bucket. Gets to the NBA, and now he's only a defender. They ask him to play a role. He's played it very well. But sometimes he needs to, be more aggressive offensively.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
He has
must
it
be
in the
what
bag.
happens to Keegan, bro.
Yeah. He forgets he's 6'8" and can dribble the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I got Jade too. I mean,
Yeah.
he's averaging 17 and 8 rebounds right now, and well, not right now anymore. In February.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, he's
Good
been
stats.
hot, and if
Yeah.
he keeps it hot and he keeps shooting, and then plays that defense that we know he can play, sheesh, it's gonna be
Sheesh.
tough, bro. It's gonna be tough.
Jeez. All right. Well, anything else on Jaden McDaniels before we move on?
Yeah, man, we should have got him instead of Jalen McDaniels.
When we first did that trade, I kind of thought we did, and
thought
I
we
was
got
so
him.
hyped, but then quickly realized we didn't get the right one.
Me too,
Hey,
bro.
that man's
Yeah.
dating the next daughter, though, right now.
Yeah.
No, that's Jeremy
No,
Lamb.
that's Jeremy Lamb. Yeah.
Or Jeremy Lamb.
That's
sorry,
Jeremy
yeah.
Lamb.
My bad.
He's on that Stockton.
My
so-
bad.
You're crazy.
I just know there was a bum player that came to second.
Don't call
So-
Jeremy Lamb a bum.
He's not a bum. I think
Come
that's why
on.
I think that's why
He
she
had a
stepped
great
down.
career.
She was GM of the Stockton Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
met her.
why she stepped down
I
because
apologize.
she was dating a player on the team.
I met her in Santa Cruz last year
He's
when
not
they
a
played the
bum.
Stockton Kings. She was there.
He's not a
Yeah.
bum,
Yeah.
but he didn't do anything for us, really.
Okay, well,
I
he's still had a
remember
good
his
career.
iconic game winner
2K14. Oh, I got
where
half
he
court.
shot it from half
Yeah.
court.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
No.
God damn.
Yeah, Jeremy Lamb. But
Short
I don't
term.
know.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I did not mean to disrespect you, Jeremy.
There we
My
go.
apologies.
I see you're nice.
Yeah. All right, well, we can move on to the last team out east, the number 10 seed, the Chicago Bulls. Who knows if they want to keep winning. There's not.
There's still 10.
There's 10
There's
right
so
now
many.
because no one else is stepping up.
Kevin
to him.
Herter.
Kevin Herter's been hot lately. By the way, I
No
think I saw
way,
something.
dude.
He's
He
like
only had, like, one
28
game.
for his last 42 from 3.
Yeah, he's hitting history. His
And I
last
told you
threes,
guys,
yeah.
been telling you guys. Shout out to my dad. He called it. Kevin Herter later in the year, he's going to get hot. Not for the Kings.
We'll
though,
see
so.
if it stops.
Maybe
Okay, so
maybe
but-
he has a lot
we
less
do have to
pressure
say,
on him,
though.
and
Yeah.
when you're shooting with a lot less
He had,
pressure, the shots fall.
0 for 3,
Yeah.
0 for 5, and then he went 3 for 6, then 4 for 10, 7 for 11.
7 for
So,
11 from
he's-
Kev.
He's been on
That
a
was
good
against the
stretch.
76ers, though, so I
Hey,
knew that.
still an NBA
Hey,
team.
they're
Was
also
Paul
the
George
Bulls,
playing?
though. So
No,
shit.
I don't think he
He's
was.
probably podcasting.
Taking a break.
Yeah, well, my pick for the Bulls was Matas Buzelis.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go.
Yeah, just the development of him.
Man, I just said Kobe went. I was like, that
Yeah.
guy needs to either leave Chicago or...
I hope not. I think he's their best player.
They have
He's the
6
best
point
player,
guards.
but there's no way they're going to build around him.
No, yeah.
Like-
But he's so fun to watch. Last
fun to
night,
watch.
actually, he hit a 4-point play
But
to
they-
tie the game with 3 seconds
They
left.
just need
So
to
that was crazy.
Just trade him while he has value.
That's
Like,
true. I mean, that's
the
a smart move.
That's like
It's
right
probably a
now,
smart
Bulls need to get rid of him.
Yeah,
Tank for the rest of the year and try and get...
which they're not going to do. They're going to probably make that 10 seed
Dude,
and
that
lose the play.
sucks.
My-
Which sucks.
Yeah. My Bulls X Factor, the loss column, bro.
Yeah.
You better be, down there in the loss column by the end of the year.
The teams that are behind him, though, are the Nets, the Sixers.
That's
and
tough.
neither of those
The
two
The
Nets
teams.
are at
Sixers
11.
literally
Yeah,
are
Nets
so
are 11.
Come
Nets are at 11 right now.
The Sixers are worse than the Nets.
Yes, Sixers are worse than the Nets, bro.
Damn.
It's sad.
That's
Paul,
actually...
bruh,
PG.
you better go back on that podcast because y'all not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know why you decided to stop it now. Like, it's too late now. But yeah, Sixers, man, in some turmoil. But
Yeah.
we're down to the last team,
My
man.
game.
We're
They
down
actually
to the
haven't,
last
they
team.
haven't won a single game since the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
What
Is that
that?
real?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What
They
is
lost
that?
9 in a row, I think.
That's insane.
That was
I'm
last
pretty sure.
month.
That is crazy. Sixers are down bad. Embiid probably out
So
for
when
the
was
year.
the Super Bowl again?
14th February. He's not wrong.
They've lost 9 in a row.
There's February 12th right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well,
not wrong. Bro.
Yeah,
They haven't
Sixers
won
fell off for
since.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're on to the last team, the 10th seed in the Western Conference, Sacramento
boys.
Kings. Hopefully, we
Sacramento.
can move up in the standings because
I don't
being
want to
10
be here.
is
in
not
10
where we
seed.
want to be.
No, we do not want to be here.
Well, my pick was Keegan Murray
Yeah.
/ Zach LaVine. We need both those guys to
Need
hit
both of
3-point
them.
shots,
Yeah.
and that's really all
Keegan,
I
I
can say.
really think is the one we really need to worry
Yeah.
about.
I kind of wanted to go Keegan. You said slash Levine. I'll
Yeah.
say slash Keon.
Okay.
Keon's big too.
Saw some people
Both
talking about
the best
Keon.
defenders on the team.
Yeah.
Both probably. I mean, Keon is the best catch and shooter on this team right now. No matter what you want to say, he's the best. He has the best 3-point shooting percentage besides Domas. So I mean, both of them. If Keegan can do what he did those last 3 games of that Warrior series in the playoffs, and then I think honestly, didn't he have a good game against the Warriors in the play-in? Like, just do that in the playoffs, and that's gonna be huge for them. And then Keon, keep coming in and keep throwing, keep putting up threes, bro, and keep playing good D, and that'll be huge.
Yeah. Zach Jackson, who would you go with?
I was going to Jonas.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be huge for them, especially because the center rotation.
Yeah.
They're going to need consistent production from when Sabonis goes out, and if he's producing for them, I feel like they have a good chance against some teams.
Yeah. Well, right now, if the playoffs started today, the Kings would play the Timberwolves in Minnesota for that play-in game. Man, that'd be a tough game.
Damn, if we still had De'Aaron, I'd say that's a win.
In Minnesota,
we beat them.
That'd be a tough game, man. If we're on the road in the play-in, if we're the 10th seed, I don't think we're winning that game. That's just no bias on it. If we're at home, though, we're gonna win.
I think the only times they've beat Minnesota this year is in Minnesota.
That is true.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder first game, I remember that.
Shout out Jay.
Yeah. But playing different, you know. But yeah, we got through all 10 teams on each conference. X Factors. Well,
let us know who y'all think.
Yeah, comment down below.
Yeah, y'all got to comment, man. Y'all suck.
Yeah, comment. Yeah, come on.
Some input.
Got some new shirts coming in as well.
Hell yeah.
Yep, go subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already, or if you unsubscribed, go subscribe again. And yeah, go follow us on Instagram, TikTok.
Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out?
All that. In-N-Out.
In-N-Out.
I'm going In-N-Out.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A?
Damn.
You're going?
I'm going In-N-Out.
Yeah, I'm going In-N-Out. Wendy's or In-N-Out, though.
Wendy's is pretty
Wendy's goes hard.
Wendy's nuts drag on your
Okay. We're going to close out on that.
You guys, this is coming out tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Make sure, we check them. It's not going to be live or anything, but I'm sure it'll come out the next day.
Check the bets.
These two, before I'm there on Wednesday, we're going to have an interview with a producer from Numbers on the Board. If you want to talk a little bit more about that, let you guys know to tune in. Yeah, our guy Christian from Numbers on the Board is joining the show Wednesday just for an interview before the show. We're going to post that as well. So super excited about that.
Talk some college ball.
Yeah, he's got the most college knowledge I've ever seen. It's like actually insane.
Rhyming accidentally.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to, but also get his takes on the NBA and just kind of hear his story because he's doing big things. So shout out to our boy Christian out there.
Yes,
Numbers on the Board. But we'll be back on Wednesday.
Hell yeah. Cheers.
See you guys then.
Deuces.